afternoon. It's a great day to talk sports. This is Three Guys Who Love Sports. My name is Chuck Burns, and this show is to salute guys and support guys that are going through physical and mental issues every week. And if we can take their minds off what they're doing for an hour at a time, and you help somebody, and Robert helps somebody, and even Adam can help somebody.
Don't count on me.
Oh, okay. Then everybody does a little, nobody has to do a lot. So happy to be here. Again, my name is Chuck Burge, here with my co-host, Mr. Robert Kinney. Robert, how are you, buddy?
I'm saluting and supporting.
How was the weekend?
It was good. It's good. Lots of great football.
Yeah. I 8-2 in the tub this weekend.
And you won?
Split. Somebody else went 8-2. Thanks to the two Monday night games.
When you told me you were 8-0, I was like, this is one of those weeks where somebody's going to go 9-1 and Chuck gets nothing.
I would have been beside myself. But like I said, here we are at Miller's. Miller's is a great place. Tonight, I think I'm going to have Mimi's Fiesta Bowl.
Wow, Chuck.
Are you having dessert again?
I'm not, although I did have a couple PB&Js this afternoon, so I wasn't sure that I wanted to eat a lot of food. So I went 6 wings.
Not mustard and jelly?
No mustard, no jelly, just wings.
No PB&J.
And, yeah, no fries. I don't need any of that other stuff. So.
Yeah. Larry, what did you get today?
I ordered a Cobb salad.
Cobb salad? You look like Will Renfro. You trying to lose weight like
You getting
Will?
ready to get into bikini weather? Where are you going this winter?
No, just don't like a salad.
He likes to be when he's at the lodge in Liechtenstein. He likes to be in there.
Let me just say this one thing about salads. When I was young, when you guys were young, God knows when Chuck was young.
It was a long time ago. KSU only had 3 buildings.
But the key is that there was only like a salad. Nowadays, man, they put everything in a salad.
Chicken,
technically you could eat salads and be like, what is that? Well, it's a ribeye with some lettuce.
And Burger Boy, you got burger again, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Burger
Hold
Boy.
the cheese.
Yeah.
Yes, hold the cheese. No cheese on this burger.
All right, so we got a full schedule today.
He's cheesy enough without it.
Some great topics today, so let's get our brains warmed up with a Brain Train commercial.
Hey, it's Melissa at Brain Train Centers, the fastest growing neurofeedback provider in the world, and I have some pretty important questions for you. Do you or someone you know struggle with focus and attention, sleep, memory, or other mood issues? Or maybe you just want to achieve more in high-pressure situations? Well, what if I told you you can unlock your brain's full potential and change your life entirely through neurofeedback? A drug-free and natural approach to negative moods, and it's backed by more than 50 years of research, so it's not new. It is safe for both children and adults as you retrain the brain to create new pathways. Medication may help short-term, but they don't address the underlying issues. Just as push-ups help your physical strength, neurofeedback is personal training for your brain. With over 20 offices nationwide, don't hesitate to reach out to Brain Train Centers, as we will provide you with the highest level of compassionate care and help you achieve the mental clarity, performance, and calm you deserve. Your journey to a better quality of life starts with a brain map. Now you can retrain your brain and reset your life. So just call or text 470-291-2778 or visit BrainTrainCentersInc.com.
Three Guys Who Love Sports right here at Miller's every Wednesday afternoon at 5, and we welcome our guest. We're going youthful today. He's actually admits to being a friend of Adam. I don't know whether it's true or not. Adam paid him to say that.
Somebody paid money.
Jonathan, give up the funk. That's who it is. Jonathan, welcome, buddy.
Thank you.
Listen to that crowd pulling for you.
Yeah, crazy.
So you know the song Give Up the Funk, right?
I do, yeah.
I love that song.
How about Get the Funk Out?
That's the one. Get the funk out of my face. Get
That's
the
extreme.
Funk out of my face.
No,
Get
there's
the funk.
another song
That's
from the
Parliament.
90s. If you don't like what you see
I don't know.
here,
I don't think I've actually heard that one.
Get the funk out. Ha! Get the funk out. Get the funk out.
So-
This is some good stuff.
Yeah, I don't feel like
Let's
it's
get the
on
funk
the
on
list.
with the show. How's that?
There we go.
All right. So first thing I want to talk about, it was a wild and wacky Monday with the Braves, and Detroit just went up 5-2. Wow.
Rock City, baby.
Hottest team in baseball.
There you go. Could be the first team to clinch the division spot. So there was a pretty wild game on Monday, wasn't it?
Thank God I was not there. I was catching abuse from a best friend who lives in North Carolina, the same one who wants me to talk about border wars and such things on this show. And I told him
I
the
love
only
the
reason,
border war.
Yeah, not between Colorado State and Wyoming, you don't. But either way, I told him, I said I needed him to keep me accountable to make me go to those types of games because he was really disappointed I didn't. Thank God I wasn't there. Had I been there for that first game, I don't know what I'd have done. I wouldn't have made it for the second game.
You would have been blacked out in a ditch somewhere.
Probably before the end of the game.
I think it's probably the craziest game in Atlanta since Rick Camp hit the home run on July 3rd back decades ago.
I don't know about that, but it's probably pretty darn close, if not.
Yeah.
For all the marbles, especially, 3-0, and you're just sliding six outs away. You're good.
And then it's 6-3, and then it's 7-6, and then it's 8-7. But you got to give the Mets credit, man. They never laid down. They just kept hitting the ball. And Lindor is an incredible player.
One person laid down. I haven't read anything about the game since it, but that second to the final out of the second game where Brandon Nimmo didn't run it out. He's one of the fastest guys in the league. The reason why he has a job is he can make contact and he runs really fast. And he did not even come close to running towards first base. Yeah. It's like, if you're a Diamondback sitting, what are you freaking doing? I was okay with that.
Yeah, it was okay to see the Braves get in. It was really wild. We kind of talked about it last week. If it came to a doubleheader, it's probably going to split 50-50. We didn't know what it meant at the time, but wound up the Mets and the Braves both get in. It was pretty cool to see them celebrating on the field together after the game that they had both got in.
First time there's ever been 2 champagne celebrations
on the same field
after the same game.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Yeah,
pretty wild.
Yeah. So Braves obviously dropped 4-0 to the Padres last night. The only road team that lost, and they're now up against the wall again, and without Chris Sale.
That's where we do well, though, right?
Yeah. So they got Fried on the mound tonight, right? Max Fried.
Yes.
Will Fried be fried? That's the question.
Well, he is in California, and, if you've ever been to San Diego, let me tell you, it's kind of pungent out there.
That's a good place to do it. So, good luck to the Braves tonight. We'll see what happens next time we're on the air. They'll either be in the division playoffs against the Dodgers, or they'll be home watching the Dodgers and the Padres.
And I personally think we win tonight just so that Braves/Falcons fans, which are usually the combination of the two, have to flip back and forth tomorrow night. And I think that's the reason why we win tonight.
I was a little concerned. Well, we'll talk about the Falcons game later. But yeah, we'll see about that. So we'll move on to the saddest news of the week, and that's losing Pete Rose.
What about Dikembe Mutombo?
Because what segment are we in?
We're in baseball.
Thank you. So Pete Rose. Pete Rose losing his life at the age of 83. And he was just in Nashville over the weekend signing autographs with Griffey and George Foster and a couple of the other guys. And then the next thing is Monday that he died.
Yeah, he's been signing autographs for a long time. I met that man on 2 different occasions.
Oh, you met Pete?
Yep, signing autographs. And, it's kind of crazy when you can be as good as he was for as long as he was because his career was so long. And still, it takes signing autographs on the weekend to live in that
pay
house.
The bills.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's funny. So, as a youthful person, I'm assuming you know who Pete Rose is.
Yes, I do know.
Does he belong in the Hall of Fame?
I mean, I think that just brings up like a broader question, right? Like that's because it's like, I don't know. It's obviously a different kind of deal than the steroids guys. So like,
absolutely.
But I feel like it becomes kind of the same question. Like if he gets in, you feel like Sosa and McGuire and Bond should all get in too.
Well, the one thing that I read that was different was Sosa and McGuire, they've had the opportunity to get in. They're just not getting voted in.
Oh, okay. Same thing with
Pete
Bonds,
Rose,
right?
Pete Rose, yeah. Pete Rose was never had even the opportunity to be voted in.
He's never been on the ballot.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the difference between the steroids era and the gambling era. So I'm really torn.
The gambling era.
Pete
Rose's career is now known as the gambling era.
Well, back then it was because now it's commonplace. But
and let me just say this, we don't have any chance of Art Schlichter going into the
College Hall of Fame
or the Ohio Buckeyes Hall of Fame or their Wall of Fame. And if Pete Rose was to get in, don't we have to let those 8 men out who the
Chicago White Sox,
the 1919 Black Sox scandal? I've
seen that movie.
Shoeless Joe Jackson.
It's a great movie, and the reason why Shoeless Joe is why it's so important is because Shoeless Joe batted .370. This guy did not tank anything, but they said, but you knew. You knew your teammates were, and that's why you're as guilty as the next guy. So at the end of the day, the only thing Pete Rose fans, and I was born in Ohio, lived in the 70s, and while the Big Red Machine was doing their thing, watched them a lot. He bet on baseball. The only thing people can say was, well, he always bet for his team to win, that we know of. And that's admirable. Yeah, I know my boys are going to do it. Well,
Can't do it.
You can't do it.
Yeah,
you just can't do
bottom
it.
line is you can't do it. And there's no doubt in my mind that he's probably one of the 2 greatest hitters of all time between him and Tony Gwynn, but I don't think he belongs in the Hall of Fame. My personal opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you. I as much as I like him, as much as I loved his game, the idea of Charlie Hustle was that he wasn't gifted like Tony Gwynn or Ted Williams or one of these guys.
Or Rod Carew or
but
somebody
he
like
made
that.
up for it with his effort, and his effort is what put him over. And so, there's something to be admired about his career because of that. But at the end of the day, I'm the degenerate who wants to gamble on sports. You can't do it while you're playing the game.
Yeah, the rules are made not to be broken. In this case.
Correct. I want to bet on this game right now. It's 5-2, top of the 8th. Well, I can't do that if I think the pitcher and the catcher and the manager are all gambling on it.
Yeah.
The whole idea of this game that makes it something is that, man, everybody's just out there trying their best.
Yeah.
Not calling Lucky Louie before the game. Hey, I'll take the 1.5. Yeah. It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the Astros are down to their last 3 outs. Detroit coming up at the top of the 9th. So, we made our predictions at the beginning of the year. Robert, you had the Yankees and the Braves, right?
Good Lord, son. I would never pick the Yankees for anything. And remember, 2 things I don't pick. Yankees and anything from the state of Michigan.
Okay. So who did you take? Did you take
I took the
Houston?
Orioles.
The
I think I
Orioles?
took the Orioles.
I took the Orioles and the Dodgers.
Orioles, Orioles are in that same spot. They're just like the Braves. These were teams that were doing well, and man, as the bottom fell out on their season.
They're trailing to Kansas
Royals.
City again now in
Absolutely.
Game 2. So, who do you think? Funk?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Shoot, right now, I mean,
You've got a big advantage.
Yeah, I was going to say, we
because
picked it 163 games ago.
Before the season started.
I mean, it's hard to pick against Detroit right now, to be honest with you.
Well, Detroit's looking good. For them looking good, they're going to get the Yankees.
Yeah. If I could change my pick, I'd probably go with the Mets now because the Mets did the same thing in Milwaukee last night that they did in Atlanta.
If I had to take something that wasn't anything that I had taken, and the Braves were not part of it because I am
True blue.
physically impossible to pick against them, I'd like the Tribe. I know I'm not allowed to call them that anymore, but they're still the Tribe to me. And
The Guardians.
I think they're a heck of a team. And then, from the other side, it'll probably be the Dodgers.
You're just a bit outside with that pick.
But, it's okay. Ohtani, I did not know I was gambling. It's okay.
All right, so I still got the Dodgers and the Orioles. That's who I started with. That's who I'll end with. And right or wrong, I've at least got in the playoffs. Last year I took San Diego, and we saw what happened to them. And but now they're playing pretty good ball. So we'll see what happens. Adam, do you have a pick?
I don't remember who my pick was.
I think he picked the Black Sox. And
I did not pick the White Sox.
Braves.
I did not pick the White Sox. I know better than to
Black
pick.
Sox.
120 loss.
He likes that name, the California Angels of Anaheim.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I thought they were the
actual team name now?
No, I thought they were the LA Angels, which
they're
was
the
weird
LA
because it's the Angels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Angels. Yeah.
They changed their name like 6 times trying to make themselves more relevant.
Larry, did you pick at the first of the year?
No, I didn't.
Good for you. You can't be wrong, right?
There you go.
That's right.
All right.
He's always undefeated.
I would have taken the Braves on the National League.
See you, Al. All right. So let's get on to our next set of commercials. And Adam, I think you're up first. No, Robert's up first.
Robert's up first.
And then we'll get
Me?
into some college football.
Joshua Smith and his wife Tammy are both graduates of Kennesaw State College. He's been practicing law for 24 years, specializing in sports and entertainment law while continuing in criminal defense, civil litigation, juvenile, and personal injury law. And he's ready to represent you all the way from your small town to the Supreme Court and any appellate court in between. With all these new rules regarding NIL and cash payments to athletes, they are placing a new emphasis on Kennesaw State University student athletics to help our student athletes better navigate some of the bigger issues that have tripped up so many. Give them a call tomorrow at 706-217-2095. That's right, 706-217-2095.
I think I started something.
You did. I can't stop.
Making preparations for when you're not around anymore is not easy. Nobody likes to think about their own mortality, and I'm sure we could talk about this next week. Doesn't always fit into the big schedule picture, and that's why you should contact our friend Ron Smith at Senior Life Insurance. Whether you're being buried or cremated, costs keep going up, but you can lock in a price today and take this final expense off your to-do list. Do your loved ones a favor and take care of this final expense so that when your time does come, they won't have to worry about it. If you're age 1 to 85, they have a plan ready for you. So please contact Ron Smith and his team at 440-561-0758.
I think everybody here is within 1 in 85.
That's a good assumption.
Let me look around the bar. Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
I mean,
Yeah.
there is that one old chick over there, but I mean, I'm just kidding. Everybody's
That's
looking.
not a chick. That's Larry.
Oh. That's the guy who's perfect in baseball. How did I not know that?
There you go. All right, so let's move on to college football, the game of the night, Georgia and Alabama, Saturday night. I was so upset because I was at karaoke event I put on every year, and I set the DVR so I could watch it when I get home. And I get home, turn the TV on about 11:30, and I said, oh, cool, I'm sure it's over. So I hit on my library, and it pops up, and there's a minute 50 left in the game, and I already know the score. I said, son of a God. So I wound up watching the last minute and a half of the game, saw the interception, and then went back and watched the highlights. I knew that I had a feeling that Alabama was crushing them because I told Tanner Klein and Allie Klein, who are one of my sponsors, but big Georgia fans, and they were watching it at karaoke. And
They just didn't
and
seem
I said,
happy.
you watching the game? And she said, are you a Georgia fan? I said, no, but don't tell me a thing. I don't want to know. Then I found out when they told me. It was 28-0 Alabama. So quite a game for the Tide. I don't know if Alabama just laid down in the second half or if Georgia just picked it up. It's probably a combination of the two.
No, not at all.
I would say it is. But
Alabama let
You're
off
allowed to
the
say
Alabama
that. You watched
let
a
off
minute
the
and a half of the
gas.
game.
Yeah.
Huh?
You watched a minute and a half of the game. I think
Then I
you're
went
allowed
back and watched the highlights.
Okay, but yeah, it still didn't count.
Alabama let off the gas in the
Yes.
second half. 100%.
Sure, absolutely. Say whatever you want to. Every time a team takes a lead, 28-3 or anything else, you start to get complacent.
Absolutely.
No doubt about that whatsoever. The fact of the matter is that the Dogs hadn't given up a touchdown all year. They gave up 4 in a row to start the game, and they were looking like a couple teams that I will not mention right now.
Western Kentucky.
Worse. But when they did it and when they turned it around and Kirby's thing when he says, let's just win a moment at a time, and that's what they did. And if you didn't watch that game and you think that Alabama they took it off, they took the second half off. No, they didn't take it off. They couldn't get it back. They could not get it back. Incredible game. Both teams get their due. One for taking somebody behind the woodshed and then responding with a minute left when they needed to, and the other one from crawling back. You think about that greatest comeback in their school's history. They didn't win, but they didn't come back and take a lead, so technically they do get that.
Hey, Robert, I have a question.
Yep.
Did you know that Ryan Williams is 17 years old?
I knew that before the 783 times they told me during the game. And, that kid is amazing. The only thing I want to know about Ryan Williams is how does one decide he wants to skip a senior year and then go to a major D1 school? Because it seems like there's probably a lot of quarterbacks who have 4.0s and going to Stanford or something.
He opened the door for a lot of kids.
Well, no, he's
Big
not
time.
the first guy. It's happened before.
Yeah, but not to this
Braylon,
extent.
Not like
Braylon
this.
Allen.
Not like this.
Yeah.
No,
Braylon-
not like this.
He's 17. He skipped a year, and he is dominating.
He's got a good point, though. Braylon Allen did the same thing because
Yeah.
he's in the league and he's 20 right now.
Yeah, youngest man to score a touchdown.
And
Correct,
then,
but you could
since
technically
1950 or
you
something
could
like
play 18, 19, and 20 and still,
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
17's a different animal.
And it was one thing when they were telling me he was 17 6 or 7 weeks ago. He's still 17.
it didn't turn 18 until next year.
This wasn't a quick birthday,
Yeah,
so
no.
he is amazing.
But I think we're gonna see it next year too with Julian Lewis, the Carrollton quarterback. He's like 5-star, one
Correct.
of the top recruits.
He's skipped his year.
I think he's technically a junior right now.
He
but
should be a junior,
He's
but
gonna
he-
graduate.
Correct.
Where's he
And-
committed to?
USC, I think.
19 different
Southern
schools.
Cal or
Yes,
Southern Cal.
Yeah, he had everybody in the bag when he was in 9th grade. Everybody wanted him. But I just don't know what that does. I mean, how does one do that? I mean, Peyton Manning should have done that.
You get enough high school credits early enough to.
Yeah.
But they all have, most of these people who are at that level probably have that and don't do it.
Summer school plays a big part of it too.
Yeah. You take
And-
class
They
and
get the extra credits so they can do that.
So, my poker buddies, most of them are dog fans, so I had to call them, and I didn't rub anything in. They called me, actually, and I asked, well, Brett, what do you think? And Brett Garrison, who is the biggest dog fan I know, he will not leave his house, even when we're at the beach and they're playing, Southern Tennessee Amputee Tech. He will not leave to come down to the beach until that game's over. And I don't get it, Brett. He said, because I'm a dog fan. I said, okay. But he called me and he gave me a unique perspective, and I thought it was very funny. Georgia was horrible on third down. Horrible on third down. But they were 5 for 5
On fourth.
on fourth down. And he said if they would have just punted, typically like most teams do on fourth down, we would have still got the crap beat out of us.
Absolutely.
well, they had to go for it because they were
Absolutely.
down by so much.
Exactly. But
Correct.
it was the fourth down that got them back in the game.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things, going back to what you guys were talking about, when you're behind the 8 ball and you have to score that many times, and you've now changed the game. I don't have 3 downs to get a first down. I got 4.
Yep.
And that's what the Patriots did 7 years ago. That's what Bama did, or the Dogs did. And, there was one drive that night where they got 3 fourth downs on the one drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not all of them were about by this much. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I got that one going away. No.
They got what, 3 by pass interference penalties or holding penalties?
Nobody could tackle anybody in that game. 1,000 yards worth of offense.
That last touchdown by Williams, those two Georgia defenders just
He made
looked
them
like they were
tackle
hugging
each
each
other.
other. Yeah.
I actually thought that was the best thing that could have happened to Georgia at that point. Having the 1 point game, if they tackle the guy, you're going to get a field goal. So it was like, well, this actually kind of works out. It didn't work out, but what an amazing game. What amazing teams. I said it a couple weeks ago, and I asked you guys, what does 6 of the top 7 teams in the country have in common, and why does it mean that? Because we don't know which one's better, but we know all of them are better than everybody else. And you look at this game.
Well, again, Brett looked at me.
It's coming.
Brett didn't look at me when he was talking to the phone. He said, I got to tell you, Alabama's a better football team than us. He said they're a lot better football team than us, which to me, having known Brett now 40-something years, I have never heard him say that about a Georgia team, which just kind of shocked me, to be honest.
Milroe is the best player on the field every time any team takes the field against Alabama, I believe.
Yeah.
I said that before the game. He's a beast. He's like Scam Newton. He's scary.
Yeah, and I didn't think the first year he was going to be in the Heisman conversation, but he certainly is now. But I'm telling you right now, this kid from Boise State,
Ashton Genty,
another 4 touchdowns this weekend.
250 yards
I
this
watched
week.
that game in full when I got home from
Crazy.
karaoke. That dude's an athlete, let me tell you. So right now, he's my favorite for the Heisman. I know it's a quarterback position usually, but this kid's special. He is special.
He is special, but he's in the Mountain West. I don't think he's going to win that.
If they get a playoff bid, I feel like his campaign gets a lot easier. But
I agree.
If he could somehow win out and he keeps playing well, he will get invited to New York.
And I think that's great.
And he won't. He has no chance of winning it, no matter what happens on the rest of the planet, because he is a running back who plays in the Mountain West. But I think just the invite, a Boise State guy getting an invite,
that's pretty special.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. All right. So we beat up the Georgia-Alabama game a little bit. What were the other games that were significant of the weekend?
Does anybody think that you'll see that game again?
No.
Probably.
no,
I say no.
I think
Georgia will lose to Texas. I think Georgia will lose to possibly Tennessee and possibly Mississippi.
There you go.
I think they'll lose to Texas. Ole Miss did not look good this
After
week.
Kentucky,
Horrendous.
yeah.
Which I
watched that game.
And this is
But
Jackson Dart had what, 273 passing yards, which, you look at and you say that's a terrible game for Jackson Dart. But we're so conditioned by Ole Miss to expect, 400 passing yards. It really wasn't a terrible game. He was 18 of 27. Like it just they just couldn't move the ball.
Right. I mean, once again, they look, because Kiffin, it's just like we talk about sometimes with Reed and Mahomes. Mahomes doesn't have anybody except he's still got Reed. Kiffin is a heck of a thing for Dart to have. It levels a lot of playing fields out even when they shouldn't be. But at the end of the day, that is not a Georgia roster, an Alabama roster, or an Ohio State roster.
Yeah.
you also he's still got weapons though. Like you can't say he doesn't.
He
Still
does
got
have-
Priest Corn has been great the last couple of years. Harris has been great the last couple of years.
But
Juice Wells.
Are they gonna? Well, I don't want to get into that, but I mean, I still don't think they're not 17-year-old special from Tuscaloosa.
Oh yeah,
I mean, these teams still have better Jimmys and Joes.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest shock of the week.
I don't think that was the biggest shock of the week.
Go for it, Adam.
I think the biggest shock of the week, the biggest loser of the week, is Matthew Sluka. He tried to he went to UNLV. He walked in the coach's office. He said, "I want my bag." The coach told him to leave and pack his bag, and UNLV won 59-14
without him.
Against a good Fresno State team.
The dude went off too. It was an insane stat line.
He was 13 of 16, 185 and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And then he had 120 yards on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, big game. There were other big games. Notre Dame and Louisville.
I think that one was huge for the ACC.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch the game. I was, because of where I was, I didn't get as well. Normally I watch about 11 and a half hours of football on a Saturday night, maybe more. But I didn't get to this weekend, so I'm a little behind. Again, the one I paid the most attention to was Georgia, Alabama, because I did watch it, just speeding through it when I got home. And, Robert and I don't always agree on something, and that's okay. Yeah.
But that Notre Dame Louisville game was very similar to the Georgia Alabama game.
Was it?
It was Notre Dame out of the, it was 21-7, out of the first quarter, and it was Louisville slowly trying to get a little bit something going. But
yeah, I want to bring this up. How about the Florida State game? Getting slaughtered. Was it Cal?
No, they
beat
Cal.
Cal.
Who did they lose? TCU.
SMU, the Mustangs.
Slaughtered
Pony
by
Express.
SMU. So that opens the gate for new coach in Florida State. But did Lane Kiffin losing in Mississippi, does that open the door for him at Florida?
He'll go to
See,
Florida.
I don't think it matters what. I think Ole Miss can make the playoff this year, and the bag's big enough. Kiffin's going to leave.
absolutely, and Kiffin's not in love with the state of Mississippi. I don't know a lot about the guy, but I don't think Mississippi is his cup of tea.
Other than Bo Rivage.
I didn't know this until talking with a buddy that goes to Mississippi State, but they actually have state laws in place where they've had to fight to get him I don't know what it is, 5-6 million.
Because he's a state employee.
Yes,
Absolutely,
he's quite
that's the way a lot of
lower.
states
Where
work.
I think obviously in Florida he can make way more money a year.
And like you said, somebody's going to bring him a suitcase.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Got to be
Maybe
the Gators.
two.
Got to be the Gators. That's where he's going next.
Why the Gators?
I just think
I don't know.
it's a
You
big
think-
Because they have more suitcases?
supposed SEC program that was once an elite SEC program.
Sure.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's the opportunity to go somewhere and get. I mean, he's got good talent at Ole Miss, but he can go to Florida and he can get 75 five-star guys
Because he was at FIU.
who want to go.
Was he at FIU or FAU? For a while?
FAU, Florida
FAU,
Atlantic. He
yeah,
was there
a
for
while.
3 or 4 years.
But you look at he won at Tennessee when Tennessee wasn't used to winning. He won at Ole Miss when Ole Miss wasn't used to win. The guy's going to win wherever he goes. But like you said, if he goes to Gainesville, he's got all the 4 and 5 stars. Which most likely, I haven't been in their locker room. They probably got enough studs already there for him to win.
Breaking news on Three Guys Who Love Sport: the Detroit Tigers are moving on.
What?
There you go.
So back to college
bye,
football.
Astros.
Bye
Cheaters.
Astros, yeah. Cheaters are out of here. So college, we're going to come back in a minute, make some picks for this week. Not a lot of interesting games this coming weekend. But we'll talk about them when we get back. First, let's get into this commercial about peanut butter, Butterfinger.
About oil?
Butterfinger Oreos and Brian Bristow at Kennesaw Express Lube.
There are a lot of places to get your oil changed in the Kennesaw area, but if you're looking for a personal experience, then stop in at Castro Kennesaw Express Lube or Lost Mountain Express Lube. We'll always do our best to get you in and out quickly, safely, and without a whole lot of fuss. We're a true owner-operated business where you'll find Brian under a car or hood at one of the shops. We offer experienced, knowledgeable technicians and the latest computer software to help you maintain your new car warranty and keep your pride and joy running for the next 100,000 miles. We proudly offer
Castrol products.
And Larry, I don't know what you were on this week, but this is not September 25th anymore either. And Brent is not on the show. So Larry has karaoke hangover, I think. So,
Hey, the guy didn't have power for a little while. So,
cut him some slack, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's get into the games. Like I said, not a lot of interesting games. Missouri +2 at Texas A&M. I found that a little. Oh, and by the way, last week, Larry, what was it? I had 4 right.
College.
4 and 1 in college.
Wouldn't
I
have been
had
me.
2 right. You were 3 and 2, 2 and 3. So close to 500.
And
Robert was 3 and 2.
and Brent was 2 and 3, and Adam was 1 and 8.
I was 2 and 3.
Oh, 2 and 3. There
I was
you
2
go.
and 3.
And you know what? I'm just going to throw this out there as I get ready to screw up even more picks on this show. I've been betting with my degenerate buddy, and I am taking him behind the woodshed. I can't freaking lose except for whatever picks I make on Wednesday. So I'm okay with that as long as that keeps up.
If
yeah.
I go 8 and 2 in the top every week, and I go 5 on here,
That's
giddy
kinda how-
up,
that's
baby.
kinda how
That's
I
what I'm
feel.
talking about. All right, so let's get the Missouri +2 at Texas A&M.
Misery looked like crap, and Texas A&M, since that opening loss to LSU. No, who went down there? Was that
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame went down there.
Fighting Irish.
Ever since that Notre Dame loss, they've gotten a little better each week, and I'm still going to take Misery in this one, though.
Missouri +2 for Robert. Yeah, going against the home team, Missouri. They almost got beat at home by Boston College. Very close game. I think 7-point game. But I think Texas A&M, they've got 1 loss. I think Missouri has 1 loss. I think that's why I picked this game.
Missouri's undefeated.
Yeah, they're undefeated.
Oh, there you go.
But it's a top 25 game.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the only reason it's on the board, because I don't really care much about either one of these teams. But I'm going to go with Robert. I think Missouri is a little bit better than Texas A&M. They're kind of fighting for their lives down there. Jumbo Fisher is toast, right? They got a new coach.
Yeah, Mike Elko.
Elko, yeah, from Duke. But it doesn't look like things have changed much. So give me the Tigers from Missouri. Go for it, Mr. Funk.
I will also go with Mizzou. I do agree they haven't looked great this year. They had a really ugly game with Vanderbilt, where
Yes, they did.
I think it was a miss on a last-second field goal to win.
To go to overtime or something like that. Yeah.
And then, what else? Yeah, I think Boston College is actually a pretty good football team, so I don't
They
think
are.
that one was too bad.
Except unless I pick them, they
Who,
lose.
who did they play last week though? Or was
Missouri was
off?
on a bye
Missouri
week.
was a bye.
Okay.
They
so
didn't lose.
all they beat Murray State, the city of Buffalo, not to be confused with the Bills and Josh Allen, BC and
Okay.
Vanderbilt. So not a lot of
No quality wins yet.
nothing.
Other than Boston College. That's
Yeah,
a pretty
yeah,
quality
That's
win.
true.
I'm still not going to call that a quality win coming out of the ACC.
Okay. Adam, how about you?
I think this is a really interesting matchup. Mike Elko versus Eli Drinkowitz. This is a Texas A&M
I love
team
me
that's
some
starting.
Drinkwitz.
Drinkwitz. This is a Texas A&M team that's starting Marcel Reed this week instead of Connor Wegman. Connor Wegman is hurt, I believe, still. But you know, Missouri has Luther Burden. Luther Burden he's fantastic. He's played well all year. The 12th man will be strong in this one, but Missouri gets it done.
That goes out bet your house
Yep.
on Texas
Can I-
A&M
can
when
I-
I took
can I-
Missouri.
Can I change my pitch?
Change your pick. All right, game number 2. The 5-0 Duke Blue Devils are getting 7.5 points at Georgia Tech.
crazy.
And I think this line has moved to 9 now.
Has it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's wild.
Well, let's be honest here. This is not like an impressive 5-0 Duke team.
No, they beat what? They beat UConn.
They beat a really bad UNC by coming back down
A
20-0.
point.
Right.
Yeah. And then they barely escaped a really bad Northwestern team at Northwestern.
And that's the game that their quarterback got hurt in, right?
What?
At Northwestern?
No, I think he played the whole game. He might have gotten hurt.
I think the Northwestern quarterback got hurt.
No. Because Mike Wright
North
played the whole game.
Carolina, yeah, somebody.
Oh, no. You're thinking the North Carolina QB broke his leg against Minnesota.
That's right.
Another Big Ten
Yep,
ACC
that's right.
matchup.
Yep.
But yeah, they don't have a whole lot of impressive wins. So I think it's a night game at Bobby Dodd. 9 points is warranted, I feel like.
Night game at 10. So you taking Tech?
Yeah.
You know, the one thing I'm going to hand it off for Duke is they beat everybody this year. They beat an ACC team, a Conference USA team, a Big East team, a Big Ten team. Unfortunately, that's been garbage all the way across the board. Give me the Jackets.
That is an independent UConn team. That is not.
Yes.
They are not in the Big East in football.
Hey,
No. They're not even independent anymore, are they? I thought they're in like the American now. No?
If they
I don't
play
know.
Big East basketball, they're a Big East team. I don't care.
I want Tech to win this game, obviously.
God, I hate the Dukies. It's my number one team to hate growing
it?
up. Growing up, it was my most hated.
Okay, I'm going with my Jackets. I almost went the other way, but my heart won't let me do it.
I really want to be different here and pick Duke. There's a Duke team. They've got Malik Murphy from Texas, a transfer quarterback. They've got a good running back, if I remember right. I like this Duke team. They haven't won very impressively yet this year. I've seen this Georgia Tech team play a couple times. They didn't play well against Louisville. I think they're coming off a bye week, but I'll take Tech.
Uh-oh. That's another one.
Haynes King and Jamal Haynes.
And I don't remember the last time. I know I said this a week ago, but this is just in case you're new to gambling. If there's an undefeated team that's getting over a touchdown, you should probably take them in this game.
Probably so, yeah.
Not be a homer.
All right, Smoo versus Louisville.
Smooth.
Give me Smoo.
I'm going to take Smoo.
I don't. I've been against how awesome my intern's been telling me Louisville is all year long. Oh, they're unbelievable. Well, now they got their first blemish. Let's go ahead and give them their second blemish and just get them out of the conversation.
I got Smoo. They're scoring a lot of points.
They are.
I'm going to go Louisville. Shuck has looked pretty good. Who's the...
Ja'Cory Brooks.
Yes, that's the receiver, right?
Yes.
He's looked really good. He's filled in where... what was his name? Jamari Thrash last year was really, really good. But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, the defense wasn't as great against Notre Dame this week, but the 2 weeks ago against Tech, unfortunately, I had to watch a lot of sad play there. So yeah, I'll go.
Adam?
I like this matchup. Preston Stone, the quarterback at SMU, taking on Tyler Shuck. As Jonathan said, good Louisville offense. Jamari Thrash left. Ja'Cory Brooks, the transfer from Alabama, came into his spot. I like the way Louisville runs the ball. This is an SMU team. They put up a lot of points. They put up 66 on TCU a couple weeks ago. They beat FSU last week. The FSU is terrible. They're garbage. I'm not going to take SMU. I'm going to take Louisville.
So the older gentleman on Smoo and the young guys on the Cardinal. All right, two more. Auburn getting 24.5 in Athens. This is a tough call for me.
No, it's not. It's really not. Peyton Thorne has not been good this year. When they replaced Peyton Thorne with Hank Brown was garbage. This is an Auburn team. They don't have an offense. They lost to Arkansas. Sam Pittman is going to be fired at the end of the year by Arkansas probably. I hate Georgia, but I'll take the Dogs.
All right. Are we picking like outright? Or are we literally
With the
just
spread.
picking
With
against
the
the
spread.
spread? Oh, okay. With how UGA looked against Kentucky, and I mean, obviously they looked more resilient against
Just a little.
Alabama for sure. But then at the same time, even during the comeback, I don't know if you're just gonna say because they were down by so much it was happening, but like it wasn't just like first second read that Carson Beck was trying to make. He was trying to force things for sure, like that. That first pick, there's just miscommunication. I wouldn't blame that on him. But that triple coverage down the field, that should never happen. And that last pick, I have no idea what he's thinking on that. But
He was thinking about his blonde girlfriend and his Lambo and where they were going after the game.
But yeah, I don't know if he'll be as aggressive or I feel like he won't be as aggressive or desperate this week. But I don't think it's going to be 25. So give me Auburn.
I'm going to take Auburn just for the fact that I can't take the Dogs.
I've been to this game twice, once on the Plains and once in Athens. Road team has won both games I've ever visited. 24.5 just seems like a huge number. Carson Beck is definitely not Stetson Bennett.
But they got something to prove.
But they do have something to prove, and I believe they're just going to run the ball, and it's just going to be run after run after run. Give me the Dogs.
Robert takes the Dogs. 2 dogs. And what we thought was going to be probably the ACC championship matchup at the beginning of the year.
No one thought that. Everyone
Clemson
knows
minus 14.5.
sucks.
Okay, let me start this one just
At
because
FSU.
I want to talk about this line. You know, we were laughing earlier. How does a 5-0 Duke team visiting the Flats get 7.5? How does Florida State only minus 14, getting 14.5 in this game? They are a garbage fire. They can't seem to do anything to get out of the way. The only way that this game is not a Clemson cover is if everybody in the locker room thinks this is the first game of the year and is afraid of Florida State. Give me the Tigers.
I'm taking the Tigers, too.
Let's also not forget, even with how terrible DJ has been, he's not even playing this week.
He's not even in.
Brock Glenn, who threw for what? I think like maybe 55 yards in the ACC championship game last year. I mean, it was atrocious.
Sounds like Bo Nix.
And it didn't get much better during the what was
The Georgia
was it the
thrashing?
Orange Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was horrible as well.
So you taking Clemson as well?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Adam?
I don't want to do it again, but Cade Klubnik has looked good this year. They have a freshman wide receiver who's been fantastic. He's not 17 years old. Brock Glenn is not great. I don't like this Florida State team. Somehow they beat Cal. I have no idea how they beat Jalen Ott and Cal. But I'll take Clemson.
So 3 of our 5 games, we all are on the same team.
And
That's
I'm changing one of them right now. Give me A&M in that first game. There's no way we're all going Missouri. That's if you guys win this game, just know it's because I changed. outside that, we're all losing.
That's fair.
Adam, pick Duke.
No, I'm not
Duke on the
picking Duke.
points. Tech's gonna
Not
lose this
taking
week.
Duke.
Somebody switch. I'm worried.
No, I'm not doing it. All right, let's get to Kennesaw Express, to American Axis, and we'll get into some pro football.
Tired of going to the same old places for the same old thing? American Axis has your solution. Whether you're looking for something new to do before or after the game, the most memorable workouting ever, or just wanting to take something else off your bucket list, American Axis in their 3.5 Atlanta locations in Marietta, Tucker, downtown at the Works, and the uber cool new mobile axe experience that can be set up wherever you need. Keep an eye out for them at upcoming events and festivals, including some Falcons games. Look the Axeman up at American Axis or give us a call at 678-763-3635. That's right, 678-763-3635 to schedule your next adventure.
And we thank you, Dan Fisher, for being sponsored. Dan's off traveling somewhere up on Cape Cod this week.
He's all over the place. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
that man sends a lot of pictures.
He does send a lot of pictures. So thank you, Dan, for your continued support of the 3 guys who love sports. So let's move on to some Falcons talk. Who liked my tagline? I thought it was pretty cool.
Man, you and your taglines.
Who can it be now?
I thought it would have been Who Can Do It?
That's not a
Didn't
song.
do it.
You can do it.
All night long. But 58 yards, that's not a chip shot.
A career best.
It's getting more like 50 yards or chip shots now.
And they
but
They are. And
But 58 on the last kick is pressure.
50 yards are becoming more like chip shots, but anytime you kick your longest ever as that's a different level. I don't care what your level is. That's a gamer.
So 2-2 Falcons. A game back of Tampa Bay. We win tomorrow night, and we're tied.
And what a fun game that will be.
And we'll be 2-0 in the division. Even more important, right?
Correct.
Yep. All right. So what'd you think about the game?
Falcons. Cousins still isn't stepping into the ball, even on some of his better completions. He's flat-footed. His feet are like this. There's no actual stepping into it or anything. So, I don't want to talk about 190 million reasons for different things, but I'm going to say that Penix is going to be out on the field. I'm not saying this week or even this season, but he's not going to be 4 years away.
I agree with that.
Because unless all of a sudden he starts stepping into the ball and then you see a little bit more and you say, okay. But clearly, even a guy who can't step into the ball, he's made us a different team.
Yeah. There's something I want to say about the game, and it's a little bit about our second topic. Georgia Tech and Georgia used to be a rivalry. It's not anymore. It's a good old-fashioned hate, but it's not a rivalry. But when you played somebody 110 times and you're tied at 55, that's a rivalry.
That's correct. That's correct.
Very happy to see us take that lead again at 56 and 55, at least for a few more weeks, because we play them fairly soon.
Trivia question: when is the last time that New Orleans led at the Falcons?
I know. When it was 1-0.
Yep.
Exactly.
The only time they had ever led the season, that 55-55, it was 1-0, and then I believe the Falcons won
9 in a row.
Yeah, a big number right off the bat, and then since then it's been
catch up.
Catch up.
Yeah. So,
Really, never during the Drew Brees Super Bowl era.
They were winning games, but we were already up by 11 games in the series. So during that era, we'll say they,
the Saints were terrible for years.
The Falcons were terrible for years too.
Absolutely,
and that's why they're 55.
But we were the Grits Blitz when they still had paper bags on their head, and then they had Drew Brees and they won a bunch. We had a good run in the 90s.
Was it the 80s or 90s when the Saints had the Dome Patrol with Swilling and all that?
That was early 90s, late 80s.
Okay.
Yeah. But it is a true rivalry, and I think that's the good definition of a rivalry. Now, there were other games this week that shocked me. I did take Denver +7, but I didn't expect them to beat the Jets 10-9.
Wow, what's some fun stats there? The guy completed 7 passes for -7 yards at halftime.
Bo Nix
and
Bo Picks.
And at the end of the day, had the fewest yards ever passing in a football game with at least 20 attempts.
Yeah, 70 yards.
I mean, the guy cannot throw it further than. Think about that. He completed 7 passes for -7 yards. I mean, where are you throwing the ball? I mean, it's atrocious.
Yeah, it is. And yet they go in and beat Tampa Bay by 23-7 the week before. That Tampa Bay team's hard to figure out because they beat the slop out of Philadelphia this week.
They did.
Wait, was it Denver beat them or New York beat them?
No, Denver beat Tampa Bay last week.
Denver beat Tampa. They did beat Tampa Bay.
Denver beat the Jets this week 10-9.
But they also beat Tampa Bay
the week before 23-7 or something like that.
But Joe Flacco is back.
Flacco is back in Indianapolis.
A 39-year-old Joe Flacco.
Did you hear when they asked him why he wasn't a Cleveland Brown?
Because they didn't offer him a contract.
Because they never asked me.
Yeah, that's funny.
Here's a team that still can't win any games because they have nothing. Maybe you should ask the people who are currently wearing your uniform.
I thought you were gonna reference the one where he said Anthony Richardson's mom is 8 days older than him.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I looked at the math of that and I was like, oh, okay.
That's pretty wild. Yeah. Minnesota Green Bay was a slaughter. It was a little bit like the Georgia game. Green Bay made a good run back at the end.
Absolutely.
It wound up
made a great run back.
Yeah.
31-29 for a final.
I got a little scared because I was no, they scored again, 38-29.
31-29, I'm pretty certain there.
What's the final?
31-29 is what I'm seeing on ESPN.
Oh, wow. I thought they got another touchdown. But I had 5.5 points for Philly. I mean, with Minnesota. Whew, that was close. That was my double. The Houston game was a little surprising.
They beat Jacksonville. A former Jaguar scored the game-winning touchdown.
Had to come back at the end of the game.
Strouds.
Yeah, the Strouds.
Well, as much as homie over there loves to say the Strouds, when are we just going to start calling them the Washington Daniels?
Let me tell you, Washington is a football team.
Well,
They're winning. They're leading the East.
but you know, so realistically, have they gotten that good, or is it just him? Because they weren't good last year. I don't think they added a lot of pieces. I don't think Austin Eckler has taken this franchise over the top. So imagine what this team's going to be when they do get a few more pieces
this is
around
the
them.
Dan Quinn special, right? You do really well 1 year, and then you suck.
Well, but you look at the Dan Quinn special. My Dan Quinn special is how much Dallas misses him. But
A lot.
you know,
I miss him a lot.
Daniels is unbelievable.
Yes.
He is.
We did the number 2 pick thing last week.
Yes, we did.
Also, Joey Burr is no longer the best NFL QB who won a Heisman at LSU. It's for sure Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
I think he's might be heading that way, but I don't think he's done it.
Yeah, not after 4 games. Not after 4 games. We're not building any
head to head.
We're not building statues after 4 games.
The league isn't based on one game.
Clearly, somebody is on a trajectory right now that few have ever been on.
Hey,
I saw
Joe Burrow.
if he
Joe
makes the
Burrow beat
playoffs
the
this
Red
year-
Rifle.
Hey, just know. I saw a couple stats about how he's the only person after 4 games to ever do this. He's the only person through 4 games who have ever had a passing percentage over 80%. Not as a rookie, ever by any quarterback ever. So you start putting that. Nobody in 100 years of playing this game has ever completed 80% of their passes in 4 straight games, except for the rookie. And I don't think he's on a good team outside of Scary Terry and whatever else.
Well, what if they get Devontae Adams? That would elevate them.
That's a cancer.
Yeah. All right, we got 8
I'd go
minutes
that
left to make
direction.
some picks. Let's get into it. London ball Sunday morning. The Jets plus 2.5 at Minnesota, but at Wembley Stadium or wherever they're playing over in London.
It's either Wembley or Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah. Who you got, Adam? Let's start with you.
I said it last week. I love Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is the best story of the NFL this year. Justin Jefferson is on my fantasy team. Great wide receiver. I love this Minnesota offense. Their defense is okay. I really wish they hadn't let Green Bay come back. I watched all of that game this weekend. I'm taking the Vikings. I am on the Vikings train. Years ago, it was row the boat for Minnesota. I'm rowing the boat for the Vikings.
I'm on the Vikings train, too.
When you look at this Vikings team, one, that offense is incredible, and they're getting ready to get Hawkinson back, which is only going to make them even better. But at the end of the day, they know Mr. Rodgers. This is, Mr. Rodgers might have only played 3 games in the last 2 years, but before then, they played this guy all the time. And so I think this is not a good matchup for the Jets.
You're taking the Jets?
I am. And, at the end of the day, if you don't have the backup running back for the Jets, you should. because he's a player.
Braylon Allen.
He might only be 20. He might be the youngest guy in the league, but, man, is he a player.
How about you, Mr. Funk?
Yeah, I completely agree with Adam. I'm on the Vikings hype train for sure.
All right.
Sam Darnold's looked good. Jay Jettis has looked good.
Buffalo -1 at Houston. Buffalo favored on the road.
Which Buffalo team do I get? Do I get the one from this week or the last week? Because that one 2 weeks ago, they were going undefeated to win the Super Bowl. This is a fun game. This is a really fun game.
Probably my favorite game of the weekend.
Yeah, because you really don't know, and both teams are. It's hard to say that you're a 3-1 team, really looking for a win. But these teams are
Both
really
looking for a
really
win.
looking for a win after this past week.
I'll stay away from this game on my betting pool.
I will too. But give me the Bills.
Yeah, Bills.
I think they will shut down Diggs. They know enough about Diggs, so Stroud will have to go elsewhere. Which of course he likes to throw it to Nico all the time anyway. But
I hope it's a high-scoring affair.
Not Nico Iamaleava, Nico Collins.
yes, that's
Look
correct.
at him
Thank you.
squeeze that in.
And Tank Dell.
So
Oh yeah, Tank.
I hope it's a high-scoring affair with they're both throwing 6 touchdowns. But I'm going to take Buffalo as well.
Adam, you want to go?
Yes.
One of you go.
Personally, I need Nico Collins to have no catches this week because I need to win my fantasy matchup versus Jonathan.
I hope he scores 34 points again.
So that I can go
Is this how people should make their picks
to go
based on their
5-0.
fantasy team?
That's what I do, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, I know.
I need to start the year 5-0. But no,
beat him, we're tied for first.
I love the Strouds. The Strouds are C.J. Stroud's one of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL. I'm going Houston.
All right.
I'm also going Houston. I hope Nico Collins has like 250 yards and like 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. All right. Cleveland +3 at Washington. I'll go first. I'm going to take the Fighting Daniels.
I don't know how Cleveland's only a 3-point underdog in this game. The only way that this game gets covered by them is if Chubb is 100%. And I don't see that happening, so give me the Fighting Daniels as well.
All right.
I love Jalen Daniels or Jaden Daniels or whichever.
You love them all.
One Daniels is in Washington, the other is in Kansas. I don't know which one's where. I love the Daniels that's in Washington. Deshaun Watson, the sex offender, is he's not playing well this year. Amari
Or
Cooper.
last year.
Amari
Or the year before.
Amari Cooper has brick hands. Nick Chubb is not 100%. His knee is still on backwards. I'm going Washington by a mile.
I can't believe that
All right,
seems like
Jonathan.
such a small spread.
Yeah, Washington's looked really good. A lot of people thought Eckler's career was going there to die. He's looked all right. Scary Terry's looked pretty good this year. Been a big-time weapon for Daniels. So, yeah, I'm going Washington.
There was one all across the board.
Let me just throw this out there. It's always fun whenever you have a rookie quarterback because although they look unbelievable, and he probably will again, these old defensive coordinators are like, I'm going to show him something he ain't never seen. Don't be surprised if the Browns beat up on them a little bit.
All right. New Orleans +5 at Kansas City. I think is that the Sunday night game?
It
or
is
the Monday
not
night?
the Sunday night
It's a
game.
Monday
Is
night game?
yes, the Sunday night game is Cowboys Steelers.
Monday night game.
Yep. All right. Kansas City just keeps finding a way. I'm going to take the Chiefs.
The Chefs. What
I
can
will
you
take
say?
the Chefs. One of you three go.
Rashid Rice is possibly out for the year.
No, he is. Torn ACL.
Yeah, he's
confirmed.
torn
ACL.
That was a disgusting injury. Xavier Worthy, one of the fastest receivers in the NFL, is now at Patrick Mahomes' will to just run routes and destroy defenses. It's a good New Orleans secondary with Marshawn Lattimore. Not a great New Orleans secondary. They got Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is going to score a lot of points. They got Chris Olave. Chris Olave is going to catch a lot of passes. Travis Kelce hasn't been good all year. I'm going to take New Orleans.
Give me New Orleans as well. Obviously not a great game against.
Do you ever disagree with him?
No, I disagree with him sometimes.
He does. It's true.
I'd never pick Dallas.
Nor would
That's
I.
good. We like that about you.
All right, Robert.
Kelsey has looked disappointing, and yes, they had the fastest guy in the world, but now, they're all of a sudden going to be leading on Sky Moore. This isn't looking well for them.
Remember when I picked Sky Moore in the fantasy draft last year?
He's going to dominate. I got an interesting stat for you. These tight ends, Sam Laporta, Travis Kelce, Trey McBride, and Mark Andrews. Do you know who has scored more receiving touchdowns than them combined this year? Jared Goff. That's how many of those tight ends have. They've done nothing all season long, and I think this is a Saints game. I think these injuries that just keep happening to the Chefs sooner or later have to be more than they can take over.
All right, Tampa Bay plus 1.5 at Atlanta. Everybody's thoughts.
Woo woo!
Start
that train rolling.
The Tampa team is a little confusing. Like I said, they beat Philadelphia bad at home, but they lost the week before at home to Denver. What have they played on the road yet, Tampa? Because this is our 4th home game in 5 games, which is a little odd.
Tampa played.
Tampa has played at Washington and won. Or no, that was at home. They played at Detroit and won. So they've had one
So
road
they beat
game.
Detroit.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So they beat Detroit too. So they have. You could
Three
say they're all
solid
quality
wins.
Yeah, Washington, Detroit, and Philly. I mean,
All
Philly,
quality
yeah.
wins.
Yeah, I got to go with the homeboys.
The only team they've lost to are the freaking Broncos. So who knows?
Yeah, that's crazy. Who do you know? That's who can it be now? I'm going to take the Falcons.
I like this matchup. This is always a good game every year, except when Desmond Ridder fumbles at the 1.
Or when they don't call a roughing the passer
On
penalty on
yes.
Brady.
Baker Mayfield has been great this year. He's I don't know that he's leading the NFL in passing yards, but he's got to be near the top.
He's up there.
Rashad White is the starting running back for Tampa Bay, which is weird because he's not a great running back. They don't have a great ground game. They don't need a great ground game against the Falcons. They got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I hope Mike Evans goes for a lot of yards. I'm taking Tampa Bay.
Godwin goes off on the Falcons.
Who you got,
It was
Funk?
a really good game.
I got Tampa Bay. Baker, outside of, I guess, the week against the Broncos, has looked really good.
The Falcons haven't played that bad a defense.
Yeah, but my thing is just like how inept the offense has been. Because just looking at that Saints game in the past week, there was zero offensive zero offensive points off touchdowns.
Fumble, punt return, and pick 6.
And I can see the Falcons winning this game, but I don't know. I almost see it in a similar fashion where it's like the defense shows up in some kind of big way, or y'all talk about Cousins not looking great, but I don't know. Obviously, he looked great in the game-winning drive against Philadelphia, but it's like at some point you got to ask yourself, is it the system? Because I don't know. He looked great in Minnesota.
Yeah,
That's when he had two good Achilles.
Wheels, yeah.
That's true.
And he didn't lead a drive this time. He just threw one pass and then had the long interference call. PI.
Yes.
Correct. Baker does look good. He's 6th in the league currently in
Passing
yards. Their offense, just with those 2 wide receivers and him, you're not surprised if they go for 300 and each one catches 100 yards, and they can still lose going away with that. But that's a formula for the Falcons to win, and I am taking the Falcons. I am.
You're a homer.
I'm cursed to make this poor decision yet again. The offense has to help. Right now, the offense hasn't helped anything. It's been defense and special teams. That defense is going to need your help, not to fumble in a worse time. Actually have a drive that lasts 9 minutes in the second quarter to where they're not gassed by the time you get to the second half. Something good.
All right. So we are running a little over time, but let me sum up my picks and give the axe. The American axe goes to the Jets. It goes to Houston. It goes to
You started chopping cords.
You started chopping cords.
Yeah, don't chop my cord because you're upset at the world.
There it is. So the axe goes to the Jets, to Houston, to Cleveland, to New Orleans, and to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So thank you, American Axes, for sponsoring this segment. And Mr. Funk, get the funk out of our face. It's time. We thank you for being on the show today. Adam, Larry, as always, great job. And guys, don't forget, know your numbers, cover your ass, get your prostate checked. See you next week right here.
See you.
Absolutely beautiful outside. What a great day to be alive. And even better to be here talking about the Owls. Can I get a big hooty-hoo?
Hooty-hoo!
All right, guys. Awesome to be here. My name is Chuck Burge, along with Robert Kenny. Robert, how are you?
Doing well, sir.
Adam Crooks, how are you, buddy?
I'm good.
Good. We're here to talk about some KSU Owls football and all these other sports. And we have a special guest from the other side tonight. And
From the dark side?
From the dark
We're
side.
bringing somebody from the dark side.
And we'll
I didn't
talk
think we
about
did
that in a little bit. But first of all, Adam's going to give us a recap of what's happened this week after we do the Brain Train commercial. If Larry pulls it up.
Hey, it's Melissa at Brain Train Centers, the fastest growing neurofeedback provider in the world, and I have some pretty important questions for you. Do you or someone you know struggle with focus and attention, sleep, memory, or other mood issues? Or maybe you just want to achieve more in high-pressure situations? Well, what if I told you you can unlock your brain's full potential and change your life entirely through neurofeedback, a drug-free and natural approach to negative moods, and it's backed by more than 50 years of research, so it's not new. It is safe for both children and adults as you retrain the brain to create new pathways. Medication may help short-term, but they don't address the underlying issues. Just as push-ups help your physical strength, neurofeedback is personal training for your brain. With over 20 offices nationwide, don't hesitate to reach out to Brain Train Centers, as we will provide you with the highest level of compassionate care and help you achieve the mental clarity, performance, and calm you deserve. Your journey to a better quality of life starts with a brain map. Now you can retrain your brain and reset your life. So just call or text 470-291-2778 or visit braintraincentersinc.com.
We are back with the Owl Show, and
Hooty-hoo.
a lot of good things going on this week. And we're going to let Adam give us a recap of what's been going on, because Adam didn't really get to do a recap last week.
I didn't.
Because we had a full show, but we've got some time, so you've got 30 seconds, Adam. Go for it.
Well, I saved the show last week, so, I mean, that's really what's important.
I guess I saved the day.
I did save the show.
He did.
Billy Madison, right?
He saved the show. He saved the day. And if you don't believe it, just ask him.
Absolutely.
Yes. Or
how it
ask
works.
Chuck. Chuck will tell you that I saved the show last week.
Yeah. Chuck never used those words.
Chuck texted me thank you, actually, for saving the show, and I appreciate that.
No, good. Now,
Chuck says thank you to a lot of people who really don't require thank yous, but that's okay. He's just a nice person.
like the clamp? No, I want to go there. Go ahead, Adam.
No. There was a hurricane that came through this week, but we played soccer through the hurricane. The game actually was supposed to take place at 7:30 p.m. against Louisiana Tech. It took place at 1:30 p.m. There was a short notice, but it was a good match. We had several shots on goal. Ava Bradford played her third game of the year against La Tech. She had the only shot on goal in the first half. It was a little more competitive in the second half. Charlie Bernal was back for the Owls. I think it was her second start after coming back from injury. So our starting goalkeeper was back, and we drew with Louisiana Tech. So a bit of momentum gaining for the soccer team, which we kind of need after the rough start.
So did we draw at 0-0 or 1-1?
Yes, we drew 0-0.
Okay.
The tennis team went to San Diego, California. They won.
Not a bad trip.
No, it's not quite San Jose. I don't know the way to San Diego.
There's about 700 miles in between, so make sure you get that right before you book your ticket.
Yes,
Exactly.
Yes. They went to San Diego. They won, I believe, 11 matches. So
That's great.
Good road trip for the men's team. The women's team went to Statesboro, played at Georgia Southern.
The Borough.
Yes. They won a couple matches, didn't win the whole thing.
When did that match take place?
That was Thursday and Friday. That tournament was.
Well, Friday, that Georgia Southern, I'm sure, was not playing any sports in Statesboro. So I was just wondering, they got it all out of the way ahead of time?
They got it all out of the way ahead of time. And then volleyball played at home at the SAW. They beat New Mexico State 3-2 on Friday. They did drop the game to New Mexico State on Saturday. 0-3 in 3 sets. Caroline Cole actually out for the year with a torn ACL.
Oh, no.
She's
been on our show.
Rooting for your recovery, Carolyn.
Yes,
Absolutely.
She is the lone senior on the team, so her career as an Owl unfortunately has come to an end.
Prayers for Carolyn.
But you know,
Is Carolyn the one who's going to become a lawyer?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember.
I think she was.
I think she was
Maybe.
the one. So, rooting for you anyway.
Yes. Football played at home against UT Martin.
and FCS school.
Yes. The offense looked good in the first half. We got a pick 6 from Javon Williams to tie the game at 7.
We tied at 10 at the half, right?
Yes, we kicked a very long, I think it was a 49-yard field goal to square the game at 10 at the end of the first half. And then UT Martin really picked it up in the second half. They won 24-13. So still looking for a bit of production from the offense in the second half. Gabe Benyard, I think, only had 30 or 40 yards on the ground. Not what you want to see from the offensive line.
No.
It's we got to pick up the ground game. Davis Bryson was good through the air. He wasn't great through the air. I mean, you know, it's kind of an adjustment. A lot of these guys only played a handful of games last year, so they're kind of starting to get their first starts of their career. But it's an extremely young team. We only have 7 seniors out of our 85 scholarship guys.
That's good. That's a diamond in the rough.
Yes. So
feather in our cap.
we can only get older and get more experience from there. And then women's soccer played again at the Saw against Sam Houston State on Sunday. They won 2-1. That is their first Conference USA
Is that
win
Kennesaw
of the year.
State's first Conference
That is
USA?
not. New Mexico in volleyball was actually
Okay.
Kennesaw State's first Conference USA victory. So now we have 2 Conference USA victories in the bag. Soccer with the second one. They are still undefeated in soccer in Conference USA.
And we're hoping to have so many in such a short period that we won't be able to identify them as 3rd win, 4th win, 5th win.
Absolutely.
Yes. The soccer team actually just got on the bus. They go to Bowling Green, Kentucky to play in the Fowler Cup tomorrow against Western Kentucky. And then they travel from there to Murfreesboro to take on Middle Tennessee State.
We got a lot of bird stuff going on. The Fowler Cup.
There you go. And, you know, we got to drive by. We got to drive through Murfreesboro to get to our first game and then
Pretty much.
come
Yeah.
back down.
Yeah.
It's, you know, the soccer team, especially Charlie Bernal coming back. I know we lost Mai Jensen for the year. She was our starting left back, I believe, the junior. But a lot of our freshmen have stepped up. Ava Bradford has played well. Brenna Young has played well. So Delaney Edwards stepped into Mai's role as the left back, I believe, might be the right back. You know, again, another example of a young team. They only have a handful of seniors. So they can only get better from there.
Awesome. Is that it from you?
Yes,
Are you
that is.
tired of hearing yourself talk?
I'm never tired of hearing
That's what I
myself talk.
That's why Adam and I like each other so much. We love the sound of our own voice.
Cross country's going to Georgia Tech on Friday.
No, that's nice. I see them every Monday now, running to the mountain when I'm doing my morning walk.
Yeah. The action is only starting to begin. Our basketball schedule has been fully announced for both men's and women's. I believe the women open against Life and the men
Toccoa.
open. Is it Toccoa Falls again?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Yeah, so,
November 4th.
Yes, and if the men play on the 4th, the women play on the 5th, I believe, and then Utah Valley comes to play
It's
the
a month
women
away.
on
Let
a
me tell you,
Saturday night, I think.
When Utah Valley comes a call, and you know it,
Yes.
'cause they bring like 6 or 7 people with them.
Wow. And those aren't the ones on the team.
Those are not. Well, a couple of them get paid by the school, but they're technically not on the team.
There
so
you go, yeah.
People will know.
It's it's an exciting time to be an Owl. We got
It is.
a lot of stuff around the corner.
It's a great day to be an Owl.
basketball's a little bit away. We got a national television game
Friday
on
night.
Friday on
Yep.
CBS Sports Network.
That's pretty cool. All right. Any other exciting news?
I mean, I could keep talking if you want me to.
No.
Well, if it's exciting, it's
yeah,
okay.
If exciting, yeah.
As long
But-
as it meets that first caveat, yes.
We
keep
got
on.
we got a basketball recruit.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the basketball recruit. It is Nigel Thomas, 2025, 6'7" out of North Atlanta High School.
I like 6'7" guys.
I like 6'7" guys too. He plays small forward.
Well, not to mention he's in what, senior year?
Yes.
This will be his senior
This
year.
will be
So,
his senior
so there's a chance he could become a 6'8" or a 6'9" guy at that
Yeah,
point. So
absolutely.
fingers crossed.
All right. So
now I'm out of exciting things to talk
okay. Well, thank you. Oh, Sneezy has
about.
returned.
Sneezy's back.
Yep. We talk about it a lot on the team when Larry's not sneezing. That if you come on to the KSU show, that good things happen to you, and we have yet more proof of that.
Why? Did somebody come on last week and leave with a massive trophy and a wallet pocket full of money?
That would be Annalise Leitner that was on the show last week.
Easy for you to say.
Annalise Leitner. I've never had any trouble saying that.
Neitler,
Now I'm all
Leitner.
of a sudden I'm trouble.
Annalise Leitner.
Annalise Leitner, that's right. So she won mine and Larry's karaoke contest last week, and
And just for the record, you and Larry are not judges or anything else. So it wasn't you guys voting.
we had
for.
nothing to do with it. Everybody said, Chuck, why did
This
you have
is
to shoot with this girl?
unfair.
'Cause I said, well, you know what? I did nothing about getting her on the show other than telling Callie Terza we need some singers, and that was the end of my involvement.
So Callie Terza went out, found a singer, she won. Does that mean she gets a cut?
Does Callie
I
Terza
told Annalise that
Does
you ought to
Callie
give her
Terza
100.
get credit for that?
I said, you ought to give her 100. But she wrote me on Sunday, Annalise did, told me how much fun she had. And her mother is just all over me like, thank you so much for getting my daughter involved in this. I said, I had nothing to do with it. I said, Callie did it. But
Before
very
we move
happy to meet him.
on, we keep mentioning Callie. Does she get credit for this? Because her head's already so big. I don't think we need to make it big.
I thought
gotta give
the
her
last
credit.
time we were talking about a big head, it was yours. So now why have you switched this to hers?
No, I was talking about I talked about her big head on the show last week.
Well, you always talk about her big head, but everybody else talks about your big head. So I was just
I
wondering.
don't have a big head. My big head can fit in a football helmet. I'm
Not
not sure hers
not
can.
Your
physically.
physical head can fit inside a football helmet. Your physical head can fit inside a peewee helmet, but that's a different
Pinhead
point.
would be a good name for him. Yeah.
It's your proverbial head that has
Ego
a hard
head.
time making it through the doorway.
Yeah. Speaking of making it through the doorway, we need to move on to our next segment. So let's get our commercials out of the way. Robert, you do yours, and Adam, you go get ready for yours.
Joshua Smith and his wife Tammy are both graduates of Kennesaw State College. He's been practicing law for 24 years, specializing in sports and entertainment law while continuing in criminal defense, civil litigation, juvenile and personal injury law. And he's ready to represent you all the way from your small town to the Supreme Court. My microphone definitely just went out, but it's okay. I'm really loud. With all the new rules regarding NIL and cash payments to athletes, we're still placing a new emphasis on Kennesaw State University student athletics to help our student athletes better navigate some of the bigger issues that have tripped up so many over the years. Give them a call tomorrow at 706-217-2095. That's right, 706-217-2095.
And we thank you, Joshua Smith.
Making preparations for when you're not around anymore is not always easy. Nobody likes to think about their own mortality, and I'm sure we could talk about this next week. Doesn't always fit into the big schedule picture. And that's why you should contact our friend Ron Smith at Senior Life Insurance. Whether you're being buried or cremated, costs keep going up, but you can lock in a price today and take this final expense off your to-do list. Do your loved ones a favor and take care of this final expense so that when your time does come, they won't have to worry about it. If you're age 1 to 85, they have a plan ready for you. So please contact Ron and his team at 440-561-0758. That's 440-561-0758.
It's now a feature. Hey, thank you, Ron.
Two
for
can
being
play at that
sponsors.
game.
Absolutely. So we are at a new moment here on the Owl Show.
Do not adjust your picture. I know something doesn't look right to you at home and you're trying to adjust it, but no matter how you adjust it, he's still going to have that on his shirt.
So this Friday night, we play the Jacksonville State Gamecocks at the Fifth Third Bank Stadium. And so we thought, how cool would it be to have somebody from Jacksonville State on the show? And so if you would, even with him being from Jacksonville State, let's give Noah Rayburn a big hootie-hoo.
He doesn't get an applause.
No, he gets
Turn
a
it
hootie
down.
hoo.
Turn it down.
Sure he does. Yeah.
Yeah, he can have that applause. He just can't have it from anybody
Yeah.
else.
How are you, Noah?
Doing well, thanks.
Good. Is Noah's mic on?
Yes.
Because I couldn't hear him.
You know,
Get up on the mic, Noah.
no.
Nope, not at all. Have you guys, you've only been doing this 3 years. Can you not, cannot get this
Could be a
fixed?
plan. You guys
There,
I think we
sounding
can
a
hear
little
you.
louder.
Oh,
There you
go.
are.
there we go. Well,
All right.
thanks for the invite, guys.
Oh, you
Absolutely.
bet, Noah. Welcome.
Thanks for coming.
So, what made you decide to choose Jacksonville State instead of Kennesaw State?
I never toured Kennesaw State, unfortunately. Jacksonville State was my first tour, and I couldn't really tell you what made me decide. I just left that tour, and I'm like, that's it.
Where did you go to high school?
Praise Academy in Powder Springs, Georgia.
Okay.
Originally from California, so that's why my voice doesn't,
No,
have
that's
anything.
good. That's
Yeah, no
good.
twang.
No twang, no
Yeah.
y'all, no.
Yeah, for a guy from Powder Springs who went to college in Alabama, you sure don't sound like it.
No.
No.
Sean, I didn't know you were from California. That's Noah's dad.
Yep.
So where did you guys live in California?
Southern Los Angeles County, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. When did you guys move here?
2015, right before my sophomore year of high school.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
Yeah, so I've been here a good amount of time now.
9 years or
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
But only 3 years before you went to college, so
Yeah. Yeah, so I really couldn't get used to it. And then, I mean, my second home now is in Jacksonville, so it's great.
Yeah, is it- you have a second home there?
Well, I mean, technically, no. But
That's
I go back all the time.
up here,
All
do
the
you?
time. Yeah.
Okay. So I know that I have told you before about my idea about the Barnyard Brawl, right?
Mhm, yeah.
Who do you know over there that we can promote this and get a trophy made to where we can pass this trophy back and forth between the schools?
Maybe no one that can really help, but I did work under a guy over there that's a VP of kind of student activities. So maybe he could.
That'll
point
work.
me in the
I
right
bet he
direction.
could get us
Well,
pointed
maybe
in the
it-
right direction.
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
That's awesome. So what did you major in at Jacksonville State?
Business management with a minor in HR.
And what are you doing with it now?
Recruiting. So
Yep.
something I really didn't even think I was going to do.
That's the way it always works, I think.
Yeah, it took me 8 years out of college to do anything to do with what I graduated with.
Yeah.
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 Did you learn anything while taking HR that has kept you gamefully employed? Like, hey,
Like-
I learned that I shouldn't do this or any of that
like
kind of stuff.
Gamecock Believer employee? Was that
Something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
A lot of just common sense.
I would think, but I used to say that about psychiatry. If you needed to take a class, you're probably still not going to understand. So I was just wondering how the HR world worked.
Very complicated. It changes all the time.
Oh, yes.
It changes all the time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, obviously, you're a big sports fan. Did you go to all the games when you were at Jacksonville State?
Yes. So of course we missed some of the away games that were really far. But I did paint up for football games. I was one of those crazy people with their
Like
shirt
David
off.
Putty?
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. So my senior year, I actually led that group, and it was super fun. Super fun.
Kind of like the Bananas.
Yeah, I was going to
of
say we have
KSU.
bananas here. They just wear banana costumes. They don't
We show off
actually.
chest. We hit the gym. We pump
I would,
out.
I could be in a lot of groups. I just don't know that any group would let me in if we had to take our shirts off. Be like, hey, what's Belushi doing down there?
You
Hey.
could have joined us. I mean, we don't judge. We don't judge.
That's good. That's good. Everybody else would.
Yeah. So, have you been to games this year?
Yes, we've been to both the home games. Coastal, unfortunately, we were very confused that entire game, and then just the recent one, we blew out Southern Miss,
Yeah.
44-7. So
That was last Saturday?
last Saturday, the
Saturday
bye
before.
week.
Saturday.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you were at karaoke Saturday night.
I was. I didn't sing.
No.
Unfortunately.
But the girl that won was really good, wasn't she?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
girl from Kennesaw State?
KSU.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I can, to a point, I can compliment, but not a.
Yeah.
It's just there's a stopping point at some
There's a
point.
stopping point for sure.
Yeah. So tell us about the Jacksonville State team. Give us a scouting report on Jack State.
Well, I'm glad we won the last game. A lot easier to give that scouting report. We started with 2 quarterbacks. We're on Tyler Huff now. He's the guy from Furman. He
Transferred in from Furman?
Transferred in this year. He's a senior, so his last year. Great runner. He kind of surprised me. I took Zion Webb for granted last year. We had him for 4+ years.
Zion Webb was a good quarterback.
Yeah, once Rich Rod came in, he definitely used them really well, especially with the really running game we had and stuff. But yeah, I mean, if we play like we did 2 weeks ago, we should be fine.
Everybody over there likes Rich Rod, right?
Oh yeah, a lot of people, like my friends, are talking about, oh, he's using us as a stepping stone to go somewhere else. But then he did that extension until 2030. So
he's there until 2030.
He might retire with us. At this
he
point.
came from West Virginia, right? Or
that's where he made his mark.
That's where he made his mark. But
he
he dropped down to like
Yes.
Houston or something.
Some smaller school. I know he was at Michigan, did a running game, like a quick running offense there. But
Yeah.
whatever he's doing now, it's working again this season. So
Yeah, Zion Webb was a good quarterback. Now we learned earlier that Jacksonville State has only beat Kennesaw State 1 time. Is that right?
unfortunately, we
Yeah.
do play our worst games against KSU, and KSU plays
We
their
like
best
that
games.
about you.
So yeah, I know we beat you last time, so hopefully we're gonna have that two in a row.
That was in 22, right?
In Jacksonville.
Yeah.
We kind of gave you a lot of points there. We dropped 3 punts, so yeah, it was not a fun game to watch.
No, that's not when you're turning the ball over like that. That's not fun. Kind of like the Saints and the Falcons Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Robert's looking at something.
I'm looking up Rich Rod's career, and to know how well he did with West Virginia back in the day. That was 01 to 07 that he was the head coach.
Gosh, I can't believe it was that long ago.
And then Michigan from 08 to 10, Arizona from 12 to 17, and then off in 18, had the OC job at Ole Miss in 19. You just look at this incredible resume and you go, and he's at Jack State. I try not to belittle you when I say that, but I mean, wow, this is a guy's resume where you would think at worst he's the offensive coordinator for Rutgers in the Big Ten or something of that sort.
Well, Lane Kiffin was kind of the same way. He was way up there, Tennessee and USC. Is we at USC too?
Correct.
And he winds up at FAU.
But Lane Kiffin has a few, He was
I think in
he
our
was a little
case,
shady.
he saw it as an opportunity, I think, because we were going from the FCS to the FBS level. So I think he saw it as like kind of a resurgence for him, where he's like, hey, I can prove myself with, especially last year, we were 9-4 with the bowl game win.
Who did you play in the bowl game?
Louisiana in New Orleans.
Did you go to it?
I did not, unfortunately.
I love bowl
I
games.
couldn't, but it was. We shouldn't have got one. Us and JMU should not have gotten one. We got lucky. There were enough 6-win teams.
But you won, so
Yeah.
that argument goes away. I
Oh,
just
it does.
defended you and your school.
Thank you.
It's one thing if you're not supposed to make a bowl game and then you get waxed in the bowl game, you're absolutely right. You win the bowl game, man. Yeah, you were supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So we're anticipating a bowl game this year too?
Yes, if we play like we did 2 weeks ago, the rest of the year, I think we should win out, except for maybe Liberty. But
Yeah, I actually took, I think, Jacksonville State against Coastal Carolina when they won.
game.
That was not a good game. For the
we just
Gamecocks.
looked confused the entire game. I don't know what we were doing there. We just kept jumping from quarterback to quarterback, and it just, yeah.
But you think you've settled in now with, what's the guy's name?
Tyler Huff.
Tyler Huff.
Yeah.
And he came from Furman.
Yes.
How much does Jacksonville State rely on transfers?
I think a little bit, especially when I first went there. We had a guy from JSU who left the next year. We got Zarek Cooper from Clemson. So he was great a few years. And then Zion Webb actually we recruited. So I would say, like any other team, we do rely on a few.
Well,
Other than Clemson.
Well, Clemson doesn't ever do that, but if you are the same things that we hold Coach Prime so high for, and if you're a cornerback, wouldn't you want to play for the possible greatest cornerback?
Right.
At the same time, if you are at this level and Rich Rod can be your head coach, wow, that could be a difference maker from me playing a half a season to possibly having a future career. So
Right.
I could see people who are very interested.
Yeah, Jacksonville State's definitely our geographical rival, and but I think because of the the great competition that we've had so far, and it's not just football. It's basketball. Are you a other sports fan?
Big
too,
into
or just-
basketball. I played
Yeah.
basketball in high school, so I do follow basketball.
Yeah.
The great thing about JSU sports that I've seen my years there at least is our worst is a okay team. We're never like a horrible team. We're never like last place in the conference or anything.
Were you at the game? I guess it's 3 or 4 years ago now when Ja Morant came to Jack State.
Yes, I painted up for that game.
I was at that game.
Yes, that game was. It was great to see him in person. A lot skinnier in person than I thought he would be. But
Absolutely, yeah.
We did beat that team by 20, Murray State. So we
Yeah, they
beat
did.
them twice by 20. So
Yeah.
just put
Well,
that out
Ja
there.
was hurt when they came and played. I mean, he played, but he wasn't 100%. One
We'll
of
forget about that.
one of my best friends went to Murray State.
Okay.
So he said, "I'll buy you a ticket if you'll go to the game with me."
I'll go.
And it was a cool little camp. It was a cool little campus. Yeah, I'd been to Jack State back in the '70s to watch a football game
There was only like 4 buildings back then, though.
at Kennesaw State. I'm
No,
not sure
I was
about
thinking
Jack
there was
State.
only 4 at Jack State.
Probably
I'm sure
so.
as well.
Might have even been less. Might have been 1. But a different school. Like a buddy of mine played football over there from high school. But yeah, so a good athletic program. Probably one of the greatest games that's ever been played at any level of football was at SunTrust Park a few years ago between the Gamecocks and the Owls, right?
Absolutely.
6 years.
Well, yeah, so we're going to do a commercial, and then we're going to bring on somebody, and we're going to debate that game a little bit. This should be fun. Will Renfro, Will goes to every KSU game, home and away. He just got back from San Jose State, and he goes everywhere.
That was a trip.
I love looking over at him and pointing over, and he does this number.
He knows it's him.
He should know.
With his
Right.
shirt too.
Yeah. So let's get our
Next
Kennesaw
commercial.
Express.
There are a lot of places to get your oil change in the Kennesaw area, but if you're looking for a personal experience, then stop in at Castro Kennesaw Express Lube or Lost Mountain Express Lube. We'll always do our best to get you in and out quickly, safely, and without a whole lot of fuss. We're a true owner-operated business where you'll find Brian under a car or a hood at one of the shops. We offer experienced, knowledgeable technicians and the latest computer software to help you maintain your new car warranty and keep your pride and joy running for the next 100,000 miles. We proudly offer Castro products.
Wake up, Adam.
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm
and
here.
We appreciate Brian
Day late and
Bristow
$1 short.
and his Butterfinger Oreos for being the sponsor of the KSU Owl Show right here. Every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Happy to have you with us. And we bring back a frequent guest, our good buddy Will Renfro. Will, how are you, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good. Sorry I'm a little late. I was out in the parking lot keying this Jeep that has a Jack State sticker on it.
Well, I was
Wow.
gonna say, at the end of the day, we've brought you onto the show many times, and I just wanted to apologize for having you coming over here and sitting next to a guy wearing that shirt. I was glad to see how well you guys smiled at each other, and make sure.
It's not Friday.
Yeah. He's
There you go.
He's not chicken, that's for sure. Yeah.
Rooster.
Oh, okay. All right, that's fine. Well, we'll get into that. But one of the cool things, as I was saying before the break, probably one of the greatest football games ever at any level was the KSU Jacksonville State game 5 or 6 years ago at Truett at SunTrust Park then.
That's correct.
And how many overtimes did that go?
5 or 6.
Six.
It was
Okay,
5.
Yeah,
it was 5.
It was a bunch.
Long.
So let's see, with Noah being on the losing side of that game, let's get his perspective first, and then we'll get it from Will.
A lot of reasons. I know I have one thing of proof. There were a lot of bad calls in that game. Technically, I have one video of a fumble at our 5-yard line. That should have been our ball. But hey, one call could have changed that game. But I haven't thought about the game in a while, for good reason.
I'm glad we brought it up.
Yeah. So I was at that game, and there was a lot of we scored quick, and then of course KSU came back. But so yeah.
It's a heck of a game.
There was a lot of people there. It was a great tailgating atmosphere that whole day. There was a lot going on that, but the best part was the end when my buddy Bryson. You remember Bryson, the guy that gave me the football?
Yeah, the guy who I got on the show.
Yeah, he was on
Bryson
the show.
Armstrong?
Bryson Armstrong was the guy that ended the game. He's the guy that didn't really intercept it, but the Jack State player caught the ball on the 2-yard line, and Bryson just says, "I'll take that."
I'll take that ball from you.
Do you
And that's
remember
how it
that,
ended.
Noah?
Now I do. Yeah. I think I erased it from my memory there.
It's funny how that all works.
That's funny. So I would have to say that that's probably the biggest win in KSU football lore.
There's a couple things about that game that I didn't like. In that 1 week, there was a lot of energy expensed on both teams, and it was the last game of the season. And so the next week they're going into the playoffs, and we only had one week to get healthy to go into the playoffs. And it didn't matter because it wasn't a conference game at the time. And so it really cost us both a lot of energy right before the playoffs when it shouldn't have.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I'm saying I wish we'd have just ended and lost, but
Had you rather have ended and lost than go 5 overtimes and win?
I would rather have lost that game and won the playoff game.
Yeah.
If it came down to it, because I think that was the year. What year was that? Was that
It was
18?
18.
Yeah, 18 is the year that we lost.
November 17th.
Yeah, it was when we lost to South Dakota State. When we could have gone, the next game would have been at North Dakota State, which was one of my goals when we were in FCS was to
Sure.
get to go to North. I wanted to play North Dakota at North Dakota State in the Fargo Dome.
Well, and generally speaking, whenever you're playing one of the Dakotas, you're going to Dakota because they're probably the higher seed.
Exactly, and they ended up winning the national championship that year, and that was the year that Chandler Burks, our quarterback. I don't know if you know this, but in the playoff game, Chandler Burks got hurt, and when he got hurt, it was it took the energy out of the team, and it was his last game, because that was our OG, our founding members. That was their last game was that loss to South Dakota State.
Yeah. Now, how long has Jacksonville State been around from a football perspective? Well, obviously since
Long
the 70s.
time.
It's
Yeah,
either
because
1904 or 1908.
Wow.
It's that long. Yeah. Yeah.
They've had a long, good history.
We changed our mascots like years and years ago. We were like the Eagle Owls, which is weird because
that's crazy. Yeah.
I like our mascot a lot better now. But yeah.
My sister went to Jacksonville State in the 80s.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you still talk to her, Will?
No.
Okay. I was just asking.
For that reason.
So, Noah, what is Jacksonville State's biggest wins in your time that you can remember?
I would say, Eastern Washington. They came to us. I forgot what year it was. It was before they went to the I forgot what year it was, but it was when I was in school. I went from 2017 to 2021. Sophomore, junior year, they came and we were supposed to get blown out. We were down 28-7, I think, after the first quarter, and we came back and we scored, I think, like 20-something unanswered to win the game by like a field goal. I may be kind of wrong, but yeah, it was a lot going on at the same time. So
Second best team out of Spokane, I do believe.
Cooper Cup, always Cooper Cup.
Cooper Cup.
Is Eastern Washington the red field? Are they the
Yes.
ones that have the red
Yes.
football field?
Yes.
Yeah. That's
Fortunately, we
crazy.
didn't go to them.
Now,
'cause
were
that
you
would've
at the
been
game
annoying.
when we played Jacksonville State in 2017? When we
That
played
was-
at the playoff game at Jack
I
State.
painted up for that. Oh no, that was before I painted up. So for my freshman year,
He's a
yeah.
face painter.
Okay.
No, he's a body painter.
Body
Let's,
painter.
let's
I
give
wore a
him some
bandana,
due.
you know. No, that
I
was
can paint my face. I just don't have abs to paint.
that was my freshman year. I think a lot of the time when we play KSU, we have our worst game. They have their best game, and that offense was super annoying. It was not fun to watch. That triple
Absolutely.
option. Yeah, it's not a fun offense to watch.
Well, now, that was the game where we were not expected to win. We were not predicted to win.
Yeah.
We went over there, and for some reason, when back before they changed the blocking rule, which is the reason we went away from that offense, if you could get to that end and chop that end down, we had a chance of breaking it for a long yardage.
Right.
And that was when Darnell Holland, which we've had on the show, who had crazy speed around the corner, and Chandler Burks, the quarterback that got hurt the next year, they had a great working relationship on that option. And so if you go back and look at the game, somewhere in the second half, the KSU fans took over the stadium. We were actually louder than the home team, and we didn't have a band with us. It was just the fans that went, and we were just there, just hoping to see a game, not hoping to win,
Right.
Because we didn't really expect to win.
Correct.
But we got really excited, got really loud, and took over that stadium. That was a great game as well.
And kind of what you were saying, I don't know why I'm kind of defending Jack State on this one, but when you run the triple option and you don't see it, it's just like Georgia Tech.
Oh,
when
it's
when you
frustrating.
have to play Georgia Tech back in the day and you didn't get 2 weeks of all time so that you could prepare. If you just went straight from another game, it's very difficult to try to figure out the
especially
assignments
a game
and everything.
that you thought you were gonna win. You know?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's our first time playing KSU, and we know they had scouting and stuff, but really, you never know until you play them. You know,
That's true.
And then with that offense, like we're going back to that SunTrust game. I mean, once it hit overtime, we knew we were going to lose because that offense gets at least 4 yards a game.
Well,
if you're not
through 4 overtimes, I wasn't sure. I mean, you might have known when you were going to overtime, but what a game! 60-52.
I wish that game would have been on TV.
I wish I'd just been at the game.
Yeah, that would have been even better.
Yeah.
All right, well, we got one more commercial to get in, and then we're going to talk about this Friday night's game and the party associated with it.
Party? Who's throwing a party? Are we inviting? We're
already
inviting
got
you.
it.
We're inviting you over for chicken.
Am I
take all the food
invited?
I can get. I'll take all the food.
Let's see. Where am I?
You're
I'm
always
sorry.
invited.
Yay.
Tired of going to the same old places for the same old thing? American Axis has your solution. Whether you're looking for something new to do before or after the game, the most memorable work outing ever, or just wanting to take something else off your bucket list, American Axis in their 3.5 Atlanta locations in Marietta, Tucker, downtown at the Works, and the uber cool new mobile axe experience that can be set up wherever you need. Keep an eye out for them at upcoming festivals and possibly some Falcons games. Look us up at American Axis or give us a call at 678-763-3635. That's right, 678-763-3635 to schedule your next adventure.
And thank you, Dan Fisher, for being a sponsor of the Owls Who Live Sports, or the Owls Show right here.
I think he prefers just being called Axeman at this point.
Axeman?
Yeah, he was,
Axeman Fisher.
Yeah, well, he said he was out and somebody noticed him. And they're like, "Hey, it's Axeman." He was like, "Well, that's kind of a cool nickname."
Yeah. And he's all over Cape Cod this week, so he's having a good time up in the Northeast, seeing all kind of different places while Brian Rustro's eating Butterfinger Oreos. That's just unbelievable. what
I
they
do have
got
a
posted.
question though before we continue.
Ask away.
Please.
Has Jack State finished their stadium construction?
Yes.
Because when we played them 2 years ago, it was awful.
It was rough.
Well, they were doing the visitor side, and they'd actually cut the benches, the metal benches that were on they'd cut them out, and there's just concrete with metal pieces sticking out.
Don't sit down there.
And we were over there sitting there just like, and then half the stadium was like police taped off. It was
That
weird
was our
because they
home
were
field advantage right there.
yeah they were doing the
Home
construction,
field advantage.
getting ready for their new stadium.
Was it better than San Jose?
It was I don't know.
Well, going back to what you said about the first time you went and how loud you guys were,
Yeah.
they made sure you didn't have a seat to sit in. This
There you go. That was-
if you're gonna be loud, you're not gonna be comfortable while you're making a bunch
And we
of noise.
paid for it. They came back and beat us in the second half at that game.
It can't have been nearly as bad as the construction going on at, what is it, Tennessee Tech? One entire side of the field is just rubble.
They found the whole
That sounds good.
building. Yeah.
Was it
no,
Barney
this-
rubble or just
No, they had
Betty rubble?
halfway deconstructed the building, but let us sit there. It was weird. I'm glad it's finished though.
That's funny. So, is this the first national game for Jacksonville State too? Probably not, because they were in bowl game.
Yeah, they were in
Yeah.
the bowl game. That
We
would
had a
have been.
few, because I mean they did something last year with our first year in the FBS where we played Thursdays, a lot of Thursdays, so we wouldn't be next to like Georgia versus Alabama
Sure.
or something. So we got a lot of TV time there. So
Yeah.
But that bowl game, we talk about it all the time. Once you get to a bowl game, that's the whole country who's watching you on
Yeah.
ESPN2
Yeah.
or something else. So that's a big moment.
And there are very few games on this Friday. I mean, so this is new territory for KSU. Jacksonville's been through it, but in the next couple of weeks, I know our next game is on a Tuesday night in Murfreesboro, North Carolina.
Yeah, Middle Tennessee
Murfreesboro,
State.
Tennessee.
They're
I mean,
tough. They're tough.
yeah, and then it's Wednesday, I think, after
Yeah,
that. So,
Liberty, and then I don't remember who's the next week.
Yeah, so there's a lot of
Western Kentucky?
middle,
Western Kentucky.
a lot of middle of the week games coming up.
Yeah.
And it's exposure. I'm sure that Jacksonville State went through the same thing. Nobody knew who Kennesaw State was when Will and I went up to the basketball game against Xavier in the NCAA tournament a couple years ago. Where's Kennesaw? Nobody knew where Kennesaw
Yeah,
was.
when we went to 2017, when we went to Montana State, they're like, "Whoa, who are you? What is Kennesaw State?"
they always think we're in Florida. So I mean,
Yeah,
I get that all the
absolutely,
time. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That or Mississippi, Jackson State. It's never.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I noticed in the worst 10 that the bottom 10 on ESPN.
Yeah.
Jacksonville State was number 2. I mean, Kennesaw State was number 2.
Yeah.
It was Kennesaw, Mountain, Landis, State. So they give us a hard time up there.
We were
in
ranked pretty
Bristol.
high. We were ranked pretty high from last year. That helped us out. I was not I just wanted to be competitive the entire year, and then we kept winning. And I'm like, okay, shoot. Our very first game against UTEP, we barely won, but
Did you guys go to UTEP or was it at
we were at
Jacksonville?
home. Fortunately, we won 17 of 14. And I remember the last drive, UTEP had the ball and we picked it off with like a minute left.
So, is there a road game you'd like to go to that Jacksonville State plays, other than Kennesaw State? Because obviously you're here for this one.
I would say Liberty probably. That would be cool.
Virginia?
Virginia.
It's in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Do we play Liberty at Liberty this
We
year?
play
or
them
here?
at Kennesaw.
At Fifth Third.
Yes.
Okay.
I think we're
We have played up there before, though.
Have you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
2017.
So what road games do we have left?
UTEP
And
and
La
MTSU
Tech.
and Western Kentucky.
so
And
those
La
three.
Tech.
And La Tech, which
Oh,
is
so
in
we got 4 road
Ruston.
games.
Yes, we got 4.
Okay, 4 road games to go. Wow. I know I'm going to go to one with you. I might
Yes.
go to Western Kentucky. That might be cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is nothing in Bowling Green. You do not want to go to Western Kentucky.
The National Corvette
the
Museum.
Corvette
Corvette Museum. The Corvette Museum's really cool.
It
But
is
when I
cool.
was there, the room was still a sinkhole.
And
So
there's a lot of bourbon in Kentucky. I'll just
And-
tell you that.
And another thing about that sinkhole, it's really cool now because the sinkhole still exists, and they've got a new floor, but they outline where the sinkhole was, and every vet that fell into the hole still has dirt on it from they never cleaned anything off. So here's the 1 millionth vet that ever came up. It's like who wrapped that around a pine tree? But yeah, it's very cool. Very
So this Friday morning when you wake up, do you have a game day routine, or do you have any superstitions about game day?
lunchtime. My YouTube randomly finds the Louisiana game and the bowl game last year, and I'll rewatch those highlights just to make myself feel better, especially after starting 0-3. That was not fun. But yeah, I mean, really, it's just head down there early, have some fun, get some food, and fingers crossed we don't play bad. So.
Now, do you guys have a tailgate section there?
We do. Of course, it's always a different spot every year, but I'll definitely be attending the JSU alumni group. So
I think
Well, you
that's,
should
I think
be
that's
true to your
behind the
schools,
Hardys up in Woodstock.
as far away as possible. Yeah.
So that sounds interesting. But Will, tell us what your day starts like. And
Cause I gotta.
Well, by
get
noon,
up
we've already been tailgating for several
early
hours.
in
Exactly.
the morning.
We are cooking breakfast Friday morning. We're starting out with that. But Friday's menu is chicken based. So there's going to be,
why is that?
well, it's Gamecock based.
Yeah.
So
okay.
we're going to have some wings. We're going to have 40 pounds of smoked wings. Then we're going to have some teriyaki chicken and some sweet and sour chicken, I think. I don't remember what Tom's, I can't remember what Tom's bringing. But
Will you still have 40 pounds of chicken even if Garrett isn't able to buy any chicken since he has no wallet?
well, that's okay. I'll take care of him.
Okay.
We'll get the
Okay.
chicken.
I'm just checking.
Robert's giving you a tough time, Garrett. So
Hey, I also I have the new rankings. Have you guys looked at the new rankings to see where we are?
We're pretty rank.
Well, I mean, we started by 134. We lost 3 games, and we moved all the way up to like 112
108 or
or
something like
108.
that. Yeah.
So I'm never sure. I was never sure how that happened.
you know what I think? I think it's because just of exposure. That nobody knew who we were. Nobody had ever seen us play. So we got to be 134.
Yeah.
And after they watched us and we weren't horrible. I mean, we didn't win, but we weren't horrible.
Well,
until
we
the
had-
game last week.
So
If
I'm
I
gonna-
say last week was horrible.
I'm going to go
Yeah.
out on a limb and say Chuck's not going to get real close to this number since he's talking this up a little bit too much. They have dropped us back down to 133 right now.
That's why we're number 2 in the
It's
worst
Kent
10.
State. Yeah. Kent State is
Wait a minute.
134.
But where's UTEP?
They're in there.
UTEP is 132.
There we go.
Rice is 130.
We still have hope.
Oh no, we
climbed, I think, after
there's
that
2
last
owls at the
middle,
bottom.
Middle Tennessee is 123. New Mexico State's 121, and Jack State's 115. So there's plenty of opportunities. You know, you might be 133, but when you're playing teams in the 120s,
You
there's
got
some
a shot.
opportunities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I told, I think I remember who I told, I think at the MTSU game, because my younger son is an MTSU graduate, I think I'm going to wear an MTSU shirt under my KSU shirt and when KSU has the ball, I'll have it on. And when MTSU has the ball, I'll take that shirt off.
Do you plan
I
on
gotta show
sitting with
my
any of
love.
the people you know, Chuck?
Yes, I do.
All right.
My son and Will and Garrett and anybody.
Oh, yeah.
else.
Wait a minute. Your son's going to be sitting with us?
Yeah.
Oh. We haven't discussed this.
And he's going to be wearing a Middle Tennessee shirt.
Aren't they blue?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Blue Raiders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll work on them.
Hopefully he'll be blue at the end of the game because
He'll be
Well, I don't
black
know,
and blue if anything happens.
Well, they are black and blue, but he can hold his own. He's all right. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. Is that?
I will be at
game
the Liberty game though. I'll make sure to wear my JSU stuff at the Kennesaw State Liberty game, just to,
Oh, okay.
Just to be there. Just to be there.
Yeah, that's
That's in 1, 2, 3 weeks.
yeah. So I'm guessing, Will told us all about our great menu. I'm sure that the Jacksonville State people aren't serving owl.
No, not be hard to get.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But you can come by our tailgate. We're in the black lot if you'd like to join.
Be sure to.
Reminds
swing
me
by.
reminds me of a joke I heard a long time ago.
What's that?
Guy had to go to court in North Carolina for shooting a bald eagle. And he gets to court, and the judge is like, "Why would you shoot a bald eagle?" He says, "I have no money, I have no job, and I have a family to feed." He said, "I can't believe, I still can't excuse you for shooting a bald eagle." He said, "But out of curiosity, what is it? What does a bald eagle taste like?" He said, "Kind of a cross between a spotted owl and a baby seal." But that's a different story.
That is a different story.
That's a
Hey,
different
Chuck,
story.
you got some lessons to take on how to tell a joke now.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. So, Conference USA games this week. There's only 2. But let's take a look at the conference as a whole. Who's the best team in our conference?
Liberty.
Probably Liberty.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about that. But
Well, you're not sure of a lot of things, but who do you like? Do you like Sam Houston above that?
No.
you
I
notice
mean,
as soon as
Sam Houston is good. Sam Houston's not great.
Have they gotten better than last year?
Definitely. They
Yes,
were. horrible last
they
year.
are much better than
Okay.
last year.
Well, Sam Houston at this point has scored 150 points, which is most in the conference. Liberty scored 134, so it's right there. However, this is an interesting one. Liberty leads the conference in points against with 82. You know who's second in that? Louisiana Tech.
Oh, wow.
They've only scored 75 points all season, but they've only given up 87. So, good defense. But, when you get to Sam Houston, they've given up 122, 40 more points.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference for a defense.
I'd go with Sam Houston as the best team in the conference.
That's crazy. See, 'cause Sam Houston was like the worst. I mean,
Yes.
they
the
were
Bearcats with a
horrible
K.
last year. Yeah, I don't like it.
But that's
We don't like it either.
that's what we're going to move
We
up.
finally found some common ground here.
I say it every week, and I'll say it again. Bearcats have the ugliest stadium in all of FBS.
They do.
And they have a K.
Yes, and they have a
spelled
K.
their name.
They can't spell Bearcats properly. That's cool.
But their athletic director was very nice to me.
Oh, you got to meet the athletic director?
I was up in his suite during the game
Oh, this was last year, right?
when we were out there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just out of curiosity, there was 4 teams from this conference that made bowl games last year.
Yes.
Yes.
What 4 were those? That'd be Liberty, Jack State,
Jack State,
and then what? Western
Mexico
Kentucky?
State.
and I think Louisiana Tech, didn't they?
New Mexico State and Western Kentucky.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh yeah, New Mexico State was. We were third in the conference or second. We couldn't go for the conference championship because those rules make no sense.
I'm just looking. I mean, at the top you got Liberty's 4-0, Sam Houston State's 4-1, and then it gets to 3-2. There's only 3 teams with winning records in the conference right now.
Yeah.
Who's 3-2?
Western Kentucky.
The Red Blobs.
The Hilltoppers.
Yeah.
But they did play Alabama. One of those 2 losses was to
Florida game,
Alabama.
63-0. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is probably why their point differential looks like it did.
Well, yeah,
Actually,
because I think Alabama scored 60 points on them.
and just for the
63.
record, and just for the record, knowing that their totals for the year scored 126, given up 126. So they're dead even. You take that Alabama game out, they've been winning some games pretty handily.
So they're even for the year?
Yeah, for the
Wow.
for the season, they
63
are
points is a lot to make up.
126.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That means they've been dominating all the other opponents.
Well, they beat Eastern Kentucky pretty badly, and I don't remember the other teams.
The
that they
Governors?
played. Yes,
Yes.
the Governors.
No matter how many times I try to call them the Colonels, and Chuck corrects me.
The Colonels is
Governors.
Austin Peay.
No, the Colonel's Eastern Kentucky.
All the above.
Austin Peay's the Governors.
We have 2 Colonels. and 2
They're
Governors.
Kentucky teams that have a military figure as their mascot. I don't We don't play
fried
them
chicken.
anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you questioning why he's Colonel Sanders as well? I don't understand.
One of them fried chicken. The other one's in charge of the state. I don't,
My goodness.
All right. Well, there's only two.
Only 2 games.
Only 2 Conference USA games, but Noah, you're welcome to stay on with us and make predictions of who's going to win these games. Sure. We usually have a lot longer list. There's been 8. I don't know why the Conference
What was my
USA 's
record
not
last
playing
week?
this week. Oh, by the way, last week you got 3 right. I got 3 right. Robert got 2 right, and Adam got 2 right.
Oh, so there we go.
Yeah.
So is Adam still allowed to blame Garrett for his
Yes.
shortcomings?
Yes.
Okay.
Garrett's picks
It's
still
the
suck.
It's the
After
bad-
after last week's record, he doesn't get to blame anybody.
Okay, I was just wondering if Garrett had put like bad juju on.
But
it,
I
and
was
that's
like,
what
2-4.
Well, when I pick better than you, there's a problem.
well, and I mentioned it last week, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it again. I said something about should I pick against us to motivate us to win? That pick is coming. I don't know that it'll come this week, but it's coming. Whatever it takes to motivate us, I don't care.
Whatever it takes. That's exactly right. Yeah. So the first game this week is Sam Houston, the aforementioned, according to Adam, the best team in the conference, laying 10.5 points, but at the UTEP Miners.
Who, just for the record, have scored 58 points this year and given up 122 and are 0-4, and they actually have them listed below us in the standings.
Okay.
They are the last place team.
Is that because
They
of
are
point
the
differential or
last
what?
place team.
I'm guessing it must be.
All right, I'm going to go first on this.
Go ahead.
I hate orange, but I'm still going to pick Sam Houston.
Well, both
I
teams
think-
are orange.
Is UTEP orange?
Yes.
They got
has a
that
nicer
dirty,
color.
that
Oh,
dirty.
I think it's-
Both
Yeah.
teams are orange.
Now I hate both of them. All right. So I'm still thinking Sam Houston's going to cover that,
Yep, 10
even
and a
though
half.
they're at UTEP.
Yeah. I can't remember what clever thing ESPN said about UTEP in the bottom 10, but it was pretty funny. I
Will doesn't even know what the
appreciate
joke was, and he's
Kennesaw
still
Mountain
laughing.
Kennesaw Mountain Landis State for Kennesaw. But
Kennesaw Mountain Landis State.
yeah, I know that's crazy. But I'm going to go with my friend Will and take Sam as well.
Someone's saying, I don't know. I can't forgive Sam Houston's last year. I think UTEP might take this one, being at
Oh
home.
wow!
Getting
I don't
to
know.
10 points.
I got a feeling.
Yeah,
Got a
you
feeling.
start the game up 10.5 to nothing. Why not, right? Yeah. What's interesting, and I'd like to look this one up. I didn't, so forget about it. But these are 2 teams that probably have a very long history. Have been probably playing football against each other for 60 or 70 years. So I'll take the favorite on the road.
Okay.
But there is a history. There's my only point.
Yes.
We're building history with new teams. This is something where people have been hating each other for a long time.
All right. So Adam, who's the popcorn vendor at UTEP?
I think this is an interesting matchup. Sam Houston played at home against Texas State last week. They won 40-39, I think. I watched the UTEP soccer team. They've got like 915 across their shirts. It's weird.
Area code?
Yes, that is the area code of UTEP. Anyway, I think we drew with them in soccer. Sam Houston's stadium is strange, as we've said. I think I've said it every week. They got a track around their football field. It looks like a high school stadium. I don't know either of these quarterbacks, but I'll go with Sam Houston just to back up my claim that they're the best team in the conference.
Okay.
That makes sense. All right. And, of course, the only other game we have this week on the Conference USA schedule is the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State visiting the Owls of Kennesaw State. And you guys are giving us 15.5 points.
The prettiest small stadium in all of FBS.
Yeah.
After I slammed Sam Houston Stadium, I got to say something about ours.
Yes, it is the lowest capacity stadium in FBS.
But it is a nice stadium for its size.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
It is. And I'm sure it will grow over the years as we become more pronounced in the conference and as we grow and win some ball games.
And just for the record, I looked it up while Adam's talking about the popcorn vendor. I knew I had a little extra time.
There we go.
And these 2 teams have only played 3 times ever.
Four times.
Four times.
4 times.
And according to this, one of the teams has never won. So that's even more reason to go with the favorite.
Your stats are inaccurate.
Because
I
Jacksonville
got the
State
dates.
has beat us
According
once.
to the official Kennesaw State website, Kennesaw State is 3-1 all time against Jacksonville
I was still
State.
talking about
he's
Utah
talking about
and
Utah.
Houston
Okay.
State, which is the game that we were talking about when you're talking about popcorn
got it.
vendors. So I appreciate you telling me.
We've
my
already
stats
moved
suck.
on to we've already moved on to the next
You
game.
never
If you
move
haven't
on.
figured out, we like to harass Adam. All right.
Only a few games.
So
ever.
I will pick, as I always do. And it's going to be,
Which game are we talking about now?
now we're talking about
only
Kennesaw
other-
Oh,
State.
Kennesaw State, Jacksonville State.
Jacksonville State at Kennesaw State. I don't know that we're going to win, but I want us to cover, so I'm going with hope. I'm just going with Kennesaw. What I really want is for us to get over 100 yards rushing, because I don't think we've done that all year.
And you know what you're saying is I want to win.
Yes.
Because if we get 100 yards rushing, I'm sure
Good
our
chance we got a shot.
odds of winning skyrocket.
By the way, I know you've looked at the roster.
Yes.
Is Benefield back on it, the running back?
Yes, he played last week.
Not a lot.
You know, I didn't get to watch last week's game.
You mean
because of where I
Benyard?
was.
Benyard. What did I say?
You said Benefield.
Oh, so I did say
Yeah.
Benefield. No, Michael
I-
Benefield played a lot.
Yes, Benefield played a lot. I don't know about Benyard.
Okay.
I haven't asked the question.
Did we have that one good drive this week, like we had,
No.
like when we played Louisiana?
We had
No.
two good drives.
yeah,
I won't call either one of them good, but
we had a pick six.
We had a
right?
Two
Six.
mediocre drives.
yeah, we did have mediocre. Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happened with the quarterback that all of a sudden he started throwing sidearm about the middle of the game.
Davis Bryson?
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought the UT Martin game they played a lot. They put a lot of guys in the box trying to stop our run.
Oh, and they were
played-
up on the line.
Yes,
yeah.
they play press coverage on the edges with single high safety, and you know in those cases you have to be able to throw the ball over the top. You have to get people like Tykeem and Christian Moss to stretch the field, both vertically and horizontally, and we just couldn't get it done.
I'm also going to say that we need the receiver to catch the ball when it hits his hands.
Yes.
I'm not naming names because that'll get me in trouble, but just catch the ball.
All right, so
You
Noah,
won a lot, don't you?
so Noah, I'm assuming you're going to take, you're going to lay the points.
It might be surprising,
Yeah.
but I'll take JSU. The score this entire week, I think it's like 31-14, 31-7, something like that.
So what does Jacksonville State have to be successful? You said that they need to play like they did last week, not the first 2 weeks. What makes them a good team?
Our secondary, I mean, we have a lot of tall corners and just physical corners. And we got a lot of, we have one linebacker from, I think it's Ole Miss, Hughes. He played really well 2 weeks ago. We just pressured. We got a lot of turnovers. And we just need our defense needs to come to play. And, of course, just stop with the confusion on offense. So.
Yeah, we need to have our defense show up like it did against San Antonio.
Sure.
Because we had those seven drives where they didn't do anything. And if our defense shows up like it did against San Antonio, it'll be a game.
Well, and not knowing a lot about the other team, but taking the word of a fan, if their strongest suit is their cornerbacks and their secondary, that actually benefits and behooves us because
running
that's
game.
something we're not going to do.
Yeah.
So
We're not gonna challenge your team on the
We're
corners.
not going to challenge them. So we're going to have to see how that secondary comes up into the box and tackles, and hopefully, although they're tall and athletic, they don't. You mark me down. You know I'm taking them Owls. Hootie hoo, baby.
I'm taking KSU. And Adam,
Who's the popcorn vendor for Jacksonville State?
yeah.
I actually don't know the popcorn vendor for Jacksonville State.
That's because he's a name dropper.
What I
and
did
stuff.
think about what I did think about when thinking about this matchup is Tyler Huff, the quarterback for Jacksonville State. We actually saw him last year. He was the quarterback for Furman when we played them last year. So a bit of familiarity with the quarterback in the backfield for Jacksonville State. Michael Benefield had 4 100-yard rushing games to end the year last year. He's yet to have one this year. I think Coach Bo talked about it. He talks about it every week. We have to establish the run. That's a big part. That's a big part of our offense. Javon Williams actually had the first interception of the year for Kennesaw State.
The pick six?
Yes, that pick six was the first interception all year for Kennesaw State. We talked a lot in the offseason about the secondary and how good the secondary was. Tyler Hallam, some other guys in that secondary, but we haven't gotten our hands on the ball, and that changed this week. So I'm hoping it can change again against Tyler Huff. He's thrown 4 interceptions so far this year. I'm gonna take the Owls. I think it'll be a really close game, and hopefully we can beat the Gamecocks and win the backyard brawl. Or the barnyard brawl.
The barnyard brawl. Hey, have we had 100-yard rushing at all?
We have not.
Per
We
team?
not.
Not
We
even
have
by
not.
player, but
Not by team.
right?
No.
I think we're averaging 60 or 70.
Quay Ashley has been big in the run game. He had several good carries against UT Martin, but just haven't been able to break that century mark so far.
Well, I'm very excited about being on CBSSN. Is that where we're on, CBSSN?
Yes.
On Friday night, the first national broadcast for Kennesaw State. It's old hat to Jacksonville. But, man, here's to a good game, and we want to thank Noah for coming on and joining us today, man.
Thank you so much.
You bet. All right, one more big hooty hoo.
Hooty hoo!
All right, we'll see you guys next Wednesday and hope to see you at the game. Until then, have a great week. Go out.